All right, guys, welcome back to Remotely Wasted. This is our week 6 college football video. This is a big weekend. I hope the one thing everybody learned this weekend is to stop listening to the narratives that the national sports media pushes onto us because they
Facts.
get everything so dead wrong. This whole
every,
season has
every
been
time.
wrong. I mean, even just a couple of weeks ago, we had a ESPN and Fox being like, well, according to analytics, USC's defense is vastly improved
Yeah,
from
they're like,
last
no.
year.
I think they was talking there was like a top five defense, like based on like who they'd play, and I was like, no chance.
Like, nah,
And
y'all are tripping. They are not that good.
they
And
ain't
then
even
obviously you have the
playing.
the OU thing. And they didn't even really cover Louisville like that, which is kind of crazy to me.
It's just not a big school, so I hate to see it.
They're gonna have to
But
cover them now. That's
all I gotta say is, well, how the turntables, Miami,
how
you
is Miami
bums.
ranked? That's my question. How is Miami even in the top 25 at the
They
moment?
they should they should be at the bottom of FBS in the basement. Missouri should be they should be right here. Wyoming should be right here, actually. Wyoming's undefeated. Put them right
No,
there.
no, Wyoming has the one loss to Texas, but
Oh, did they? Yeah,
Air
that's
Force
right.
is
They did.
undefeated.
Yeah, I don't think they've played anybody too crazy,
They
but
play Wyoming this weekend, so that's gonna be a
Missouri's
big, big
almost
game.
beat LSU, and then who'd they lose to?
Missouri only lost
They
to
upset K
LSU.
State.
Yeah,
Is it?
LSU
Yeah,
was the
that's their
first
only
loss.
loss. Yeah, I'd still put them in here over Miami. That LSU loss is way better than this Georgia Tech loss that Miami brought upon themselves.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I mean, even West Virginia has had a pretty good season so far. Their only losses to Penn State. I don't see how
Surprisingly,
how
yeah.
they're not
I thought
above Miami.
I thought West Virginia was gonna be bad this year.
Oh, I thought Neil Brown was getting fired. That's like he was like
Yeah,
number one who I thought was getting fired going into this year, but they're actually having they're probably like the third best team in the Big 12. Pretty weak Big 12 right now, but yeah, they're probably the third best. I saw Oklahoma State fans were like, I think we're the third best, and I'm like, you guys might be. It's that bad this year.
you guys might be bottom three, but not number three.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
Oh, actually, no. K State, you could take the bottom. The game was horrendous. I'm so mad.
yeah, I don't know
But
how K State dropped that one. So I did the math again. We're down to 14 undefeated teams now. So last week it was like 22. So we lost a big chunk of those undefeated teams. Almost all of them are ranked. There's a couple that aren't. Air Force, James Madison, and I believe Liberty are the only three that aren't ranked at the moment or aren't Power Five.
yeah, if they keep winning out, they're definitely gonna pop up in here.
Somebody's gonna
Probably
pop up real quick.
that's this is actually I don't think I've ever seen a team tied for a spot like that.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I think it's
I
just
feel
like
like
an
they just
AP
did that to
thing.
keep Miami in there. Like get them the fuck out of here.
Yeah, there's
put
no reason for
put
Miami to be
Kentucky
in
at
there.
25, bro. Get them back. Split this. What are we doing here? This is 26 teams, right?
Or it's 25 and there's just no 20.
Yeah, there is no 20. But I don't get it. Just make one of them 20. What are we doing? Come on now.
I mean, one of them's got to be like worse than the other, or have like
Why?
by basic
I'm
schedule or something.
that Washington State loss was pretty embarrassing. So I would drop them below Tennessee.
Tennessee did lose to Florida, who's no longer ranked though. UCLA is at least ranked now, beating Washington State.
I I was thinking Washington State was gonna blow UCLA's doors off, and it did not happen. They got their doors blown off. That was terrible.
Yeah, that was a pretty embarrassing loss on Washington State's part. I thought Washington State might have been able to like run the table in the Pac-12 this year,
Yeah,
based
yeah,
on the way they were looking.
I did too. They just didn't show up. Cam Ward was like nowhere to be found.
Yeah, and UCLA actually has one of the better defenses in the country right now. I think they're like a
It
top 10 defense.
it seems like it with that game, and then the Utah UCLA game was pretty fucking close. Was it like 14-7?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it was
it's
exactly 14-7. Yeah.
if they could get their offense going, they could have a shot to win the Pac-12. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Because Utah's lost, so
I mean, looking at this top 25, you can almost even make the argument that Kentucky should drop off based on the way they just got destroyed by Georgia. It was pretty embarrassing.
you can
And
take Notre Dame out. Two
yeah,
losses.
I mean, Notre Dame, they kind of got a little bit of leeway because they did lose to Ohio State and Louisville, who Louisville jumped all the way up to 14.
Yeah, I mean they've lost to two undefeated teams, but they almost lost to Duke. They're gonna lose this week, more than likely.
I don't think so. I think Notre
You
Dame
don't
beats
think
USC.
USC wins?
No, because I was looking at like the stats and everything, like the rankings of the defenses, and so they're coming off of first team they played, they lost to Ohio State. Ohio State has like the ranked third defense in the country. And
Right.
then the next week they lost, or they won barely against Duke. And Duke
Okay.
has like another top 10 defense. And then they lost to Louisville, and Louisville has like a top 25 defense. And then I looked at USC, and they have like the ranked 79th defense in the country.
Yeah.
So Sam
It's
Hartman's looked really bad these past few weeks, but I think once you get him against a defense that's really not good, he's going to start looking like the Sam Hartman we thought we knew.
I don't know, it might end up being a shootout like the Arizona game.
No,
That was
I mean USC
embarrassing.
is going to put up their points.
Yeah.
Luckily, Notre Dame has a pretty good defense for the most part. They didn't look that great against Louisville,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But Marcus
I mean,
Freeman's a pretty good defensive coach. I think they'll at least make enough plays to keep USC to where they'll lose. But it'll probably
yeah.
be a close one. It'll probably be a close
If they could
shootout.
get like a stop or like an early turnover to kind of, get an extra score on USC, if it does and turn out to be a shootout, that could be the deciding factor. But Caleb Williams he's I mean, the last like 2 or 3 weeks, he's been like a little hit or miss, but he's still balling out, and I think he'll carry him over. It's at this point, like they don't even fucking need a defense if he's just cooking. They're gonna outscore everybody.
Yeah, even in his bad games, he could just kind of coast along, and
Yeah,
he'll still figure it out. Like towards the end of that Arizona game, which it was funny. I texted you. I was like, I'm not staying up to watch this. I stayed
and
up all the way till like
I,
2 in the morning watching
I
that.
didn't. I was like, because I think that last touchdown when they took the lead, it was before the last Arizona score. I was like, oh man, no, that's it. Because Arizona, like, they weren't really doing much on offense at that point. And I was like, okay, USC's got it. Woke up the next day and triple overtime. I was like, what the hell happened?
Yeah,
I
I
thought they
kept
lost.
watching. Yeah, because I mean, like it was crazy because at the end of the game, USC gets right at like the 20-yard line. They're about to kick the field goal, and the holder like fumbled the snap or something, and they got blocked, and that was sent to overtime. It was pretty
It's
embarrassing.
crazy. Yeah, I was surprised at Arizona. That was they look good. Yeah, contrary to their record, but I was excited for him. I was really, really hoping they was gonna win that game. But
He put up
unfortunate.
a lot bit better of a fight, and I mean their quarterback, that was his second ever career start, and
Yeah.
he threw
Yeah,
five
it's
touchdowns.
crazy. Let's see what else. Kansas.
You like cut out.
Are you there?
Yeah, we might have to start this over. It's like
That was weird. I don't see your video now. Oh, there it is. Okay. Technical difficulties. Anyways, Kansas today they play this week, right? Who did they play?
Kansas. I don't know who they play at
They
the
played
moment.
UCF, and they blew the doors off of them. I actually bet against Kansas in that game because I was like, oh, Daniels is out. He's gonna be. I don't think he's playing this week again. Like that dude needs to get his shit together.
Yeah,
He's doing the Cam Rising thing. Luckily they only got one loss or only one loss. So they play Oklahoma State this week. That should be an interesting game. Um, their backup, Bean, what the fuck is James,
Beam. Yeah,
Beam, Bam, Pam, whatever the fuck his name is. He's solid. I think they should beat Oklahoma State if he plays well.
yeah. You might have to share your screen again. It looks like when whatever just happened, it knocked the screen off. Yeah, there we go. That was
We're
weird.
booing now.
Yeah. Kansas. I mean, I'm kind of surprised they're ranked at the moment.
I mean, they got one loss. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't be.
Oh, the Big 12 is just so weak right now. I feel
It's
like
very
they
weak.
got Kansas in there to boost up OU and Texas at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I would have them in over Miami, absolutely. So, and if you're gonna have these one loss teams, like Miami, they 100% shouldn't even be in here. That Georgia Tech loss is just unexcusable. Cristobal should be fired yesterday. After and I think this is like the second time he's done that. He did
Yeah, he
this
did
with
that in
Oregon
2018. Yeah.
against Stanford. So it's like, what are you doing? He probably investigate him. Look into his like, is he betting? Like, is he got some betting history? Maybe check his like family. Maybe he was like, hey, put some money on Georgia Tech because I'm gonna fumble this bag. It's just so weird. It doesn't make sense. It's doesn't make sense at all.
It was I don't understand the call at all. I mean, you just kneel the ball. I don't understand it. I turned that game off to switch to the USC
I
game
did
because
too.
I thought it was over. Then
I
I
did
get an
too.
ESPN alert and it's like Miami fumbles the ball and Georgia Tech scores, and I'm like, well, what? Are
No
you
way.
kidding me right now?
And
I
that
mean,
pass though was incredible. He rolled out and on the run, it was beautiful. And he kind of like slid almost into the end zone. I was like, oh shit, he went down early when I was watching the clip.
yeah, that was a crazy game. Miami, it's just I don't think they're back.
No,
I don't know if they're
absolutely not.
going to be back at this point.
At this, yeah, I was, I was kind of scared. Like, oh, yeah, we gotta play Miami. They're looking like they're good this year. After that game, I'm not worried at all. But they're gonna come in and play us like it's the fucking Super Bowl. So it should be fun. And then I was gonna say something else about that game. Yeah, just Georgia Tech just stays upsetting people, man. Georgia Tech is just terrifying to play. I
They're a
don't know
pretty good
why.
team. Haynes King is actually he's playing way better than he did at A&M.
I, I'm so glad they moved away from the triple option. I'm so glad.
They're kind of a like I could see them being good in maybe a couple of years the way they're trending. They gave Ole Miss a run for their money. Ole
Yeah.
Miss kind of pulled away at the end, but they were playing pretty close to Ole Miss, and then they pull out this upset against Miami. And I mean, we'll see if Miami is really that bad. But I mean, with coaching decisions like that, I just don't have much faith in Miami going
Well,
forward.
I mean, they beat A&M, and then A&M played Alabama really close. So it's like, it's was that just like a kind of fluke game? I don't know. They were at home too, so like it just doesn't make sense.
Well, I mean, I don't. I just feel like it ain't that much of a home field advantage. I
And
feel
no,
like that's
they
one of the worst home field advantages in all of college football. It should be one of the best. It's one of the most
yeah,
historical programs, and then you got them playing in Miami Stadium, which doesn't. It just holds too many people for the amount of
yeah.
Miami fans that show up. They need to build their own separate stadium that holds like probably
I
like
I
20,000 less.
I feel like I heard something like that they are building something, or I could be tripping, but they
There's
definitely
just
need to.
no like I feel like the big thing about college football is like the environments, and there's just not a good environment at Miami. Like
Yeah,
compare
they're
that to
never
like
gonna
the
have.
Louisville game. Like Louisville, like that looked like a crazy crowd, like a crazy place to play.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
Miami should have a way better crowd than that.
it's also Georgia Tech too, so they're like I feel like the fans were just assuming that's a gimme win. Like they sell out. Well, not I don't think they sell out, but like if we play them in Miami, like the crowd's crazy. So it's maybe just their fans are so fair weather, you know what I mean? Like they show up when they're good against big teams, and then it's like this Georgia Tech game, like half the fans don't show up. So it's just I don't know.
It's
Fuck
an embarrassing situation down in
fuck you,
Miami.
Miami. I hate Miami, and I'm so glad this happened because they
Yeah.
were talking so like their fans were talking so much shit on us because we barely beat Boston College and Clemson. So just love to see it.
Going up from there, I mean, we got LSU. They played pretty bad throughout most of that game. Then they pulled out at the end, and then on that pick six, I don't know if you saw after the game, Brian Kelly was like, he shouldn't have ran that in for a touchdown. And I'm like, I get it, but like I feel like nobody like throws their players under the bus more than Brian Kelly does after
He's
games.
he's a terrible coach. He's gonna get fired. There's no way.
I
Like,
mean, he's gonna obviously probably get another couple of years, but
yeah, but he's gonna ultimately end up fired because he's not gonna have success. He's just not a good coach. And like this was their year to be good. And I mean they still can have a good year. Two losses isn't bad if they can win out. But
they
their
could still win
defense,
the SEC. But I mean, the
they
playoff
they
hopes are
have
done.
they have no defense to be seen. They have the USC defense. Yeah, that Florida State win over them is looking not as good every week,
Yeah, not
unfortunately.
quite as good, but I mean, if they keep winning, the win will look pretty
Yeah.
decent. Notre Dame, that was a rough game
That
for
was a
Notre
trap
Dame.
road game for them, and they did not show up.
Their playoff hopes are crushed now. There's no
Yeah,
chance they get in the playoffs.
they'd have to beat USC this week and win out and
A
hope.
bunch of stuff goes wrong.
Like
Yeah,
all these teams up here are gonna have to have at least one loss, and Hope that
Some of
one
them would probably
loss
need two. Yeah.
and hope that one loss is like some unranked teams. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't. What's the rest of their schedule look like?
I think they got a kind of a little tough.
Yeah, they don't have anything other than USC. So like, it's just they don't have any meat left to kind of bump them up other than this game. And like, if they beat USC, it's not even as big of a deal as it would have been earlier in the season because they've almost lost like 2 or 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, and USC. I'm almost positive that they're going to lose more games after this. Like if let's just if they lose to Notre Dame, I don't want to just assume it's going to be a Notre Dame win, but I think it will be. And
I'm going the
I
other
bet
way.
you USC probably loses to both Washington and Oregon when they play them. I don't see them beating
I
them. I
agree.
can even see them at this point. I can see them losing to UCLA if UCLA's defense could show up and shut Caleb Williams down. They've got to.
They just need their offense to do something. Like, okay, if Cam Rising's here for this game, I think they lose to Utah. And then this could be two to three losses right here. Like they have a tough schedule this back half.
Yeah,
And then
their front half of the schedule was a really easy schedule, and it wasn't easy for them though. That's the problem. This should have been a
they
game.
were playing like they did pull out in like the second half, but it's like it's kind of a lot of these teams are still doing this. Going into halftime tied, really close, maybe up by a score, and then they turn it around the second half. But like it's just weird. Nobody still is looking like absolutely dominant.
Yeah, there's not. Well, I mean, Georgia's starting to look that
Yeah,
way.
I think Georgia, like everybody fucked up. Like Georgia's not losing any again. They're the momentum's rolling. They're cooking. If Georgia was gonna lose, it's that ship sailed already. I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the unfortunate thing for Notre Dame, and this is like kind of their fault. So you lose your chance at the playoffs, and now you have nothing left to play for, really, because you guys aren't in a conference. You don't even have a conference championship to play for. They had that one year where they played in the ACC. I think that was the COVID year. They played in the ACC to like have a schedule, but it's just okay. We're gonna be independent, and this is gonna be our thing. But if we are eliminated, we have nothing left to play for. We got rivalry games. They only have like one rivalry game left, really, the USC game.
Yeah, this was the worst year for them to go have two losses. Next year with the 12 team playoff, they probably would have been okay because if they beat USC this week, it would definitely jump them, kind of up in this range, and they would just maybe be on the fringe. If they went out, they'd probably get in.
Yeah.
But this is the wrong year, and they fucked up because Sam Hartman's gone after this year, so they just wasted his year.
Well, this was the one year you would think that Notre Dame had a really good shot because they finally have a quarterback in. They got all
Yep.
this. They got a good running back. They got a good defense. Everything's there for Notre Dame to win.
Just Hartman's not playing well. I don't know. He looks so rattled in that game. Like that crowd was crazy though.
Well, he threw
Look,
what 3 picks? I think that was a.
I think so.
It was like his. I don't even think he had thrown a pick the whole season until that game, and he threw like three in that game. He hasn't looked like himself the past 3 weeks. Really, he's just the moments have been a little bit too big for him.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Jumping from
And,
Wake Forest to a school like that.
and it's funny because he lost at Wake Forest to Louisville last year too. Oh man, he must fucking hate Louisville. I know I would. That would be so annoying losing to the same team twice and you're on a different team twice.
That's got to be frustrating.
It's
Tennessee, I don't know if they played or if they did, I didn't pay attention to it.
Where do they
I really
play?
don't believe they did. If
Uh,
they did,
I'll
it
just
wasn't anybody notable because I didn't even really hear about it.
was it South Carolina?
It might have been, or maybe they're on a bye.
It
South
doesn't.
Carolina, man, I thought South Carolina was going to be pretty good with the momentum they had built last year with
I did
knocking
too.
Clemson off and
I
pulling off
did
some
too.
upsets. I thought South Carolina, they might be a problem this year, and they've been terrible this year. This has been a really bad year for South Carolina.
They probably lost quite a bit, to the transfer portal. I know we took their tight end, but like other than that, I'm not sure what else they lost, if anything. Maybe it could be coaching issue. They did lose their QB. They lost Jalen Hyatt. Yeah, I mean that's as far as I know for Tennessee. But I mean,
Yeah.
those are two big losses. That's their best receiver and their quarterback, who was on pace to win the Heisman. So before he got hurt, what was his name?
Oh, Hendon Hooker.
Yeah,
Yeah, he had a great season last year.
Where
And
did he go?
he's backing up in Detroit right now.
Okay. What a good spot to be. What a good spot to be.
He's in a good situation. And then yeah, we've already kind of covered the Washington State UCLA. That was just a really bad performance by Cam Ward. He was like in my Heisman top five. I had really high hopes. And I mean they could still have a good year. It's not like their season's done.
Yeah.
The
No, absolutely not.
Pac-12's such a weird conference right now. It's so weird that like I could almost see the Pac-12 just like all killing each other
Cannibalizing
off.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like the Big 12 is going to do the same thing. If unless OU can make it unscathed, which I think they will.
I think the Big 12 is pretty like set like OU, Texas, then a
Yeah.
major drop off to the whoever the third best team is. Some people say West Virginia, some people say Oklahoma
Like
State.
Texas Tech's pretty solid. They've been beating some people.
Yeah, I don't think we have to play them this year. Thank God. They're one of those teams that usually gets us, but I don't think
That
they're on the schedule now.
that's like a team that they like line up on like a Thursday for you to play like on the road, and you're like, what the fuck? Why? And then you go on the road on Thursday, and it's an absolute shootout, and nobody wants that. Um, anything else interesting? Oregon State looked pretty solid. DJ, I think he threw 5 TDs, so he kind of redeemed himself a little bit. We already touched on Louisville, and then where did Ole Miss play? Arkansas?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
I believe they covered or they got really close. They beat them pretty bad.
yeah, they bounced back. North Carolina is still just moving along.
Drake May had an unbelievable game, almost 500 yards of total offense.
I think he only had like 2 or 3 touchdowns too, because I was like looking at like his total touchdowns. I think he's only got like 8 on the year, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, he threw for like 500 yards or he threw for like 400 yards and then he rushed for like something like it was close to 500 yards total offense against
He's
Syracuse.
he's good, and Syracuse has a pretty good defense. We play them this week, so um, yeah, North Carolina's just kind of flying under the radar. There's this like weird scenario too with the ACC. So like we don't play North Carolina this year, and then Louisville we don't play them either. So like we could all three potentially go undefeated, and like we could not even make the ACC championship type thing. Like you know what I mean? It's
No,
like
no, no. I think the way it's set up,
that's some weird scenario.
I think North Carolina and Louisville will have to play each other if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not
So
sure
the
what it
winner of
is.
that game would play Florida State in the ACC championship.
No, they don't play.
They don't play each other. What the? How does that even work?
No. And then we don't play me. That's what I'm saying. Like we could all three finish undefeated, and one of us misses out on the ACC championship. And it's based on like I think it goes on like strength of schedule and like points scored type thing, and then it gets real like weird. So like one of us is gonna miss out if we all finish, and then it's like, well, do you put an undefeated team in the playoff that didn't make their like a conference game? So I don't know.
That's one of those weird scenarios where you're hoping. I mean, it's just like an impossible scenario. You're just hoping somebody in another conference like loses, gets upset or something, so you could jump in. I feel like Florida State would get in because they have a
I,
better strength of schedule than North Carolina.
yeah, and we're already up there too, so that helps. We're not having to climb the rankings. Like Louisville is sitting at 14 and North Carolina's at 12, so they got to climb a little bit. But I think we got Duke still, so that's good. North Carolina's got Miami and Duke, so those would be good wins. Who's Louisville got? They beat Notre Dame. They got Duke and Miami.
And
So they both,
Kentucky last game of the year, which
yeah. If they'll probably be ranked still by then. So I mean, it's weird. Like there could be 3 undefeated ACC teams going into the ACC championship, and obviously, one of the teams going to lose. So there could be 2 ACC teams undefeated, and then what do you do? It's very weird.
well, there's a lot of really weird scenarios from what it's looking like going into the playoffs. Like
Yeah,
you also have the Big Ten that has like kind of a similar issue where you got Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan all in the same conference. And then let's say, Michigan has like one loss or something, but they beat Ohio State and they go to
yeah,
the Big Ten championship and then lose. does Ohio State get in over like
Yeah.
say like a one loss Oklahoma or Texas? Like, do you punish OU or Texas for getting to their game and losing? It's just or basically OU. If OU got to the Big 12 championship and lost with that only loss, would you put Ohio State above OU at that point? It's
Yeah,
just a weird
it's
scenario.
just like I think losing like that last game of the year really puts you at a disadvantage because that's like so fresh on everybody's mind. You have this most recent loss, like it almost invalidates everything you've done all year for the most part. And like that one win for like Ohio State in their championship game would like I feel like they'd favor that more than OU's big win at Texas. I don't know. It's kind of stupid. I'm so ready for the 12 team playoff. We wouldn't even have these problems at next year. It'll be
Yeah,
like, oh, as a two loss, UCLA team need to be a 12 or something. We're gonna be having those conversations.
yeah, the teams that deserve to get in next year will get in
Yeah.
for sure.
Like, are
I
you gonna?
honestly don't think a lot of these scenarios that we're discussing are even going to come up because it's
No,
only halfway through the season. A bunch of teams are still going to lose.
absolutely.
Um,
Let's see. Alabama, they handled A&M, right?
yeah, they played A&M pretty close, but they pulled away towards the end. Their defense looked really sharp. Milrow threw really well. He's looking more improved every week. I'm I'm kind of starting to think Alabama might be a problem if they can win out. Obviously, if they win out, they're going to the playoffs.
If because they would win the SEC, they'd be playing Georgia in the SEC championship. So you got both of them sitting there with one loss. Like, I mean, obviously, like these top teams, like if you win out and you go undefeated, you're in. So like, that's really all you need to worry about.
It's really weird watching an Alabama game because like Nick Saban, this got to be Nick Saban's last year because I just look at him on the sideline and he looks so mad the whole game, and
because
he's
he knows his team's
always been
bad.
like that, but this year he just looks done with it. Like he just looks like he's waiting to get mad. That's the way he looks on the sideline.
Because he knows like they're not performing well.
He just seems so frustrated. I can't imagine him coming back next year. Maybe he does for one more year, tries to run it back, but
Yeah,
he's just looking like he doesn't enjoy being out there anymore.
Ole Miss might have fucked up and not beat Bama and accidentally let Bama into the playoffs. That ain't good for nobody because they'll turn it up. They'll figure something out.
If Alabama gets to the SEC championship with one loss, they're gonna win the national championship.
It definitely it seems like that.
That's my hot take of the day.
That's
If Alabama gets to the SEC championship, they're gonna beat Georgia, and it'll probably be Georgia and Bama in the playoffs. Somebody's who
maybe
should be getting
one
in
and
is gonna get
four.
kicked out, and Bama's gonna win the whole
Yeah,
thing, and it'll be like, wow, this whole year was all
a
for
waste of a
nothing.
season.
We
It's
thought we had a
exactly
good
what it feels
season,
like.
but it's not.
Depressing. Oregon, I think was on a bye. Washington was on a bye.
By
Penn State was on a bye. So, but we got Washington, Oregon playing this week. So that's one undefeated team losing, unless they somehow end in a tie, which is I think impossible in college
yeah,
football.
college
So
football doesn't let ties happen. So
go to 20 overtimes, and then they just gotta reschedule the game for next weekend because it's 4 a.m. That'd be
I
crazy.
I think honestly, I think Oregon's gonna win this game. I
I
like Washington. I want Washington to win that game, but I really just think Oregon has a superior defense to
well,
Washington.
I bet on Washington and everything I bet on loses. So yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I think Oregon's gonna pull away with it. So I guess we could get into our top six.
Yeah, we'll just
Mine's
break that out.
a little bit different than what they got. So I do have Penn State at six. Who do you have at six?
I have Washington at 6. I think Washington's just a better team. I'm pretty sure Washington has better wins. I don't think Penn State's really beat anybody.
See,
Like,
I valued that West Virginia win and
okay,
the Iowa win a little bit.
yeah,
But
but Iowa has like the worst offense in the entire country still somehow. This Arizona win is starting to look a little bit better with them almost beating USC. So I think that kind of bumps that stock up a little bit. And then, other than that, they've kind of blown everybody else out. Cal was kind of close for a little bit, but I don't know. I think Washington's the better team and they got the better quarterback. I think Bo Nix could definitely give Washington trouble if they can't stop him running. Like he might have to run a lot. And if they're not ready for it, then I think he could win the game for them with his legs, picking up big first downs, sneaking in a rushing touchdown from, a little ways out. type thing.
Yeah, you
But
can make the argument like Oregon, Washington, Penn State. You can interchange those. I
yeah,
feel like their schedules haven't really been too crazy. You could make the argument like the Colorado win for Oregon is the best win out
true,
of all three of the teams.
true.
I think Washington definitely has like the best like eye test when you
Yeah,
watch them play. I'm at the point in the season where we're about halfway through. I'm just kind of basing everything kind of off resume, and
yeah.
I
I'm
just think Washington
excited to
is the best win out of all those.
I'm excited to see Washington's defense this game. Like how good really are they? And I think we'll find out because Oregon's they got a really good offense, and if Washington can win and their defense doesn't play very well, that'll kind of show us like they're gonna have to be in shootouts when they play these bigger teams, or if they make the playoffs, like they're gonna have to outscore teams.
Yeah, it's yeah, those three teams. We're gonna know whoever wins the Washington Oregon game's gonna pop
I
up. They might even pop up like top three. It really just depends on the fashion in which they win.
yeah. I
Um,
think if Washington wins, or actually, I think whoever wins, I think they probably jump to like I think they probably jumped to four. I think they jumped both of us. I think we both get pushed down, maybe even like to three above Ohio State. We all slide
well, I mean, I mean,
because you guys beat number three and you guys jumped seven, so they would be beating 7 or 8, which is kind of right around the same range,
and they're
and
already up there at.
they're already up there. So I think they could definitely jump to the three. I think three is the furthest they go. I don't see them really jumping Michigan.
It seems like the voters really love Georgia and Michigan. Like I don't see either of those teams dropping at all.
No.
Um,
And Ohio State, we've all kind of played close games for the most part. And Georgia's had their close games too, but they're defending champs, so they're not going to take them out. Number 5 though, I got Ohio State 5.
It's a fair point. I actually moved Ohio State down as well, not to 5. I actually have Michigan at 5. Just because I'm
Okay,
basing off a resume and Michigan
yeah,
hasn't. They obviously like if you base it off the eye test, Michigan is probably the best team in the country, but they just haven't played anybody yet. So
yeah,
if you're
that's
gonna
fair.
give that excuse for a bunch of other teams, like oh they haven't played anybody, we got to keep it consistent and keep it with Michigan.
Yeah,
But I agree with you moving Ohio State down because that Notre Dame win is starting to look less impressive.
for sure. And the only reason I have like Washington at 6 is just because it was on the bye. I think last week when like Ohio State and Florida State were on the bye, I think I might have dropped them one spot, but because I think the week before this I had Washington at like 4 or 5. So I mean, I don't think it's really unfair to drop them for not playing when everybody else played and looked pretty good. So
So are you questionable about Ohio State or is it just kind of
I'm still questionable. Yeah, 100%. Maryland was playing them hella close the whole first
they
half. Like
were
I
they
think they went to
were
half at 10, and they lost because Maryland's offense couldn't get going. Oh, Tua's brother shit the bed the second half. They were cooking the first half too. Like they were playing really good.
it
Second half,
honestly it looked like
I
it
don't know
could
what
be an
happened.
upset. And we talked about it at the beginning of the last episode that was a potential upset and it was kind of looking
Yeah.
like it early on and then
I don't know. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know what happened the second half. Maybe Ohio State's defense finally was like, all right, let's stop this shit and get it together, which is probably what happened. They figured made some halftime adjustments, and they're obviously the better team. So
it's the
and
unfortunate thing about college football is when you get a team that goes up early and it's kind of like an upset team. They usually like the better athletes end up prevailing at the
yeah,
end of the game, and then the favorite team ends up pulling it out
they
somehow
just wear
almost
them
every
down.
time. Yeah.
Absolutely, it's
So no,
unfortunate, but
number 4, I have Ohio State. Who do you got at number 4? Since we've already kind of talked about Ohio State,
I got Florida State at 4.
you got Florida State at 4.
Yeah,
Were you not too impressed with the Virginia Tech performance?
nope, not entirely, but I just think that teams above us have played better and are better at this point. So it is what it is. I think we're still good. We're good. We're fine. But we definitely have some question marks, big question marks.
I mean,
Big,
that's your favorite team. So, is there anything you want to go in depth on them about, like with this game against Virginia Tech, or just the
we
team in
can
general?
we can circle around after this. We can just hit both of our teams.
Okay, yeah, I have so I had Ohio State at 4, and then I moved OU up to 3
I have OU at 3 as well.
because I mean
That was a huge win.
huge win,
Huge. That
and
might be the biggest win of the year so far.
that was the bit that I think it is the biggest one of the year so far. And it was just so crazy because nobody was really
Nobody picked you guys to win. I didn't see a single fucking soul, and I was like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna win this game. I bet on OU to win. It was unfortunate somebody else in my parlay fucked it up, but I was confident OU was gonna win. I don't know what it was. I just felt it like OU's defense just felt good, and I didn't have the same feeling for Texas. I'm not sure what it was, but
it was an
yeah,
interesting win because yeah, like last week we were talking about does Venables have any tricks up his sleeve? Does Levy? And they really didn't.
no,
They
they were
just
getting
played
exposed.
physical ball. That's all they did.
They were just
At their
giving up
pace.
so many big plays and that fake punt. I was like, what the fuck are we doing? I don't even know why I say we, but I say we because I was rooting for OU. But I was like, what are we doing? Like, there's people wide the fuck open all the time. And I
Honestly,
was
though,
like,
when Texas
holy
did that
shit.
fake punt, that's when I knew Texas was in trouble because I was like, this is really early in the game for them
Yeah.
to be doing some kind of a desperate move that early in the
Well,
game.
OU had all the momentum. That interception on Texas's first drive and was a fumble the next drive or something like that.
It was two
Was
straight
it back to back
interceptions.
interceptions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
back to
And
back interceptions, and then there was a fumble that Quinn Ewers did. OU only converted one of those into points,
yeah,
which
it
was kind
was
of unfortunate.
that was
But
pissing me off. I'm like, dude, like the second half was rolling around. Texas was like starting to get momentum, and I was like, they might be fucked because they didn't score on it. Or they didn't really score off these turnovers. Like, and then they weren't scoring on their own possessions. They were just getting shut down. And it was like it was pissing me off. But the defense was just finding ways to get stops, and it was pretty impressive. So it was a great game. Could be game of the year. I don't know.
it was one of the
That was
better
definitely my
games.
game of the week. I'm assuming it's your game of the week too.
I knew what we were
Unless
going to
you,
talk about it quite a bit, so I just picked a different game, which was USC Arizona. But like
okay,
obviously to me this was the game of the week, but
yeah,
I knew this was going to be probably a big topic of the episode because it was the
yeah.
biggest story of the weekend.
We can deep dive into it whenever we touch on OU after
Finish
this.
the
Yeah.
top. So then I had two. I moved Florida State up to two,
Okay.
just because if you're looking at the resumes, like OU has a good win, Ohio State has a pretty good win. It's iffy now if Clemson was that good of a win, but I right now
It's still Clemson and it's still a big fucking rivalry and we haven't beat them in so long. So like to me it's a big win and to like all of our fans it's and to our team it's a big win. Like that was like a huge like circle on the calendar. Like can we beat Clemson? Like and if we can, all right, we're back. So yeah,
yeah,
for us it's a big win.
so that's why I put Florida State at two because they have two pretty big wins at the moment. They don't have
Yeah.
a huge win anymore with LSU kind of
Yeah.
struggling, but if you look
At
at
the
the
time they
resume,
were big.
they have the probably the best resume at the moment as far as having multiple decent wins. Um, Florida State has looked a little rough on defense the past few games.
My
Um,
God.
it's not looked too great on defense, but
No.
it's not they haven't looked in trouble really this whole season either, except for the Clemson game,
Yeah.
obviously. But besides that, well, Boston College they're in a little bit of trouble, but
I'm still convinced we somehow like screwed Boston College with that win. That the refs were somehow and there's no way we should have won that game. But I'm happy we did, but I'm still convinced we should have lost.
yeah, as the season progresses, I could see Florida State sliding down a little bit. But really, if you're Florida State, all
All
you
we
got to
gotta
do
do
is
is
keep
win
winning.
out.
Just keep
Yeah.
winning. Doesn't
Doesn't
matter
matter
how
if we
you do
win by
it.
one or what. Yeah. For sure. I got Michigan at two. They just
Going off the eye test, pretty
they
much.
they just look good, man. Their quarterback's questionable to me. He makes bad decisions sometimes. That one game in particular, what was it? Bowling Green. He threw like three interceptions against Bowling Green. It's still like is sitting there in my mind and like I don't know that at Penn State, like if he comes in there like and ain't ready, that crowd is absolutely insane. If he comes in there not 100% locked in and ready to go, he's gonna fucking make mistakes and they're
It,
gonna lose.
if Penn State is like still undefeated or just one loss, that crowd is going to be so hostile. It's going to be like the craziest environment he's probably
Yeah,
ever played in. And I don't know if Michigan comes out of that game alive in that crowd. I
I
don't.
I said it earlier in the year. I think Penn State wins the game.
The thing with Michigan is
Or
like the conference schedule isn't their fault. They don't make that. But the
yeah,
non-conference like schedule some competition so you don't just get surprised when you face a good team. I had the same complaint about OU. Like the whole build up to Texas and the whole reason everybody is
Yeah.
favoring Texas so much is that, well, they played Bama and OU hasn't played anybody. Well, maybe we should start scheduling
No,
a
I mean,
good team.
this is the last year for that. So, and this is really the last year for Michigan and their type, because you got USC, UCLA rolling in,
Oregon and
Oregon.
Washington. So I mean, you
Yeah,
got
so it's the conference is even more packed. I mean, they're not playing all of these teams every year. Like their schedule's still like they might play four good teams out of the conference a year. So it's kind of the last year for that, for the Big Ten and the SEC really.
man, we
And then
we both
we
got Georgia at one because
yeah, this
I
was
am so
I'm sick of them.
frustrated. I was so mad to see them do good. And it's impressive. Don't get me wrong, Georgia fans. Like it's probably like the most impressive run I've seen during my life. But it is just so tired. Like I'm just tired of seeing the team. Like every year, like the past 2 years, they ain't lost in 2 years. At least I don't think so. If they lost in 2021, it was like a one loss and they redeemed it. I
I was
don't.
convinced this was going to be closer. They absolutely shut Kentucky down. Their running back coming off of almost 300 yards rushing the week before, and then they come in here and he didn't even put up 100. I think he was sitting at like 90 something.
Well, and that's the problem with Kentucky is Devin Leary can't throw all of a sudden. He was good at NC State, but he
Yeah,
can't throw. He's terrible this year.
and looking at their schedule, their only loss might be Ole Miss. That might be the only good offense that they've played all year.
And honestly, like if we're being real, Ole Miss isn't going to beat Georgia. It's at Georgia. Ole
Yeah,
Miss
it's
can't even beat Bama
this
when they need
Tennessee
to.
game could be interesting
That's
because
at Tennessee.
Tennessee's crowd gets wild, and Tennessee, like at that point, if they got nothing else to lose, they might just want to ruin Georgia's season.
That'll
I
be a
don't
big
know.
challenge for Carson Beck because he's a young guy. He hasn't really played in a lot of big games. That'll be his first like away game
True
where it's a
big
big
game.
challenge. Because I mean, Ole Miss is going to be at home, so yes, that is a challenge. But you got the home crowd on your side. It's going to be a lot better of an environment than going to Tennessee. But I mean, with Bowers as their tight end, that dude is just
He's
incredible.
unstoppable. You can't even double cover him because it's like linebackers cover tight ends. So like you have to bring a safety up to help cut double cover him. So then you're leaving the top open, like, or do you slide a cornerback over? Like you can't put two linebackers on him because then they're just gonna run the ball right up the middle.
Yeah, I don't
It's
see Georgia. I think Georgia could easily lose in the playoffs once that comes around. I mean, we saw last year Ohio State played them to the very end of that game, and they
Yeah, I
almost they
think
almost
I think
lost.
Michigan could beat them. Like they if I don't know how good Georgia's run defense is, but if Blake Corum is still healthy by then, if they get matched up, if, but like that could be an interesting matchup. I don't know. Ohio State has like probably the best receiving core in the country, so all McCord has to do is just get the ball to him. We have one of the better offenses in the country. So at that point, like our defense is terrible, so we just have to outscore them. You guys look pretty well rounded at this point. Washington or Oregon, if they match up against them, like we'll see how their defenses go. But those offenses are super volatile. If USC gets in there and they match up, like good fucking luck outscoring USC. Good luck.
I don't know. I mean, Georgia probably shut them down enough to where they'll win because I just USC ain't even getting to the playoffs. The USC ain't even sniffing the playoffs. How bad they've
Yeah,
looked.
I'm just like if type thing.
Yeah,
If they somehow are able to. Yeah, I don't. It may be. I don't know. Maybe Lincoln Riley don't give a fuck about his defense because it seems that way. Like they just don't care. We're gonna score 45 a game, and you gotta score 46.
yeah. I
That
was
that's
putting all the blame on Alex Grinch, and then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, well, Lincoln Riley runs this offense to where the defense doesn't get like any rest. Really, they don't do
they're
any clock management. And they snap the ball early into their play clock, and their defense gets no rest. Not that their defense is.
especially when they're up too. Like I don't know.
That's how Colorado came back because they were just running their offense to the point where the defense was getting right back on the field,
Yeah,
and then they're getting cooked.
exactly.
It's more. It
So
might be more on Lincoln Riley, but USC is not going to do much better than Lincoln Riley. This is what you got. He's good.
no,
He's good enough to
and
get
not,
you
not
get you there.
and nothing's gonna change until the defense costs them a win, or they're gonna have to lose for something to change, and they're gonna have to lose probably pretty bad for Grinch to be fired in season. I think they could potentially make a change at the end of the year.
I think they will because they're going
They
into
have
Big Ten
to.
next year.
They
Like, how are
have
they going to
to.
survive like this in the Big Ten? They're not.
They're not. Absolutely not. But I have to use the restrooms. We'll take me.
I'll
Keep
keep the
going.
crowd entertained. Well, yeah, but yeah, Lincoln Riley, he's running that offense just a little bit too fast. The defense isn't able to, stay rested. They're just constantly hopping back on the field. So yeah, USC is not looking good. I think they're gonna drop a couple more games. I think, well, they haven't dropped a game, but you know what I mean. They're gonna drop probably Oregon, probably Washington. I think they're gonna lose to Notre Dame this weekend, and it just makes me really curious to see what they have behind Caleb Williams going into next year. And they're going to the Big Ten. It's just only going to get tougher for them. Obviously, Lincoln Riley's a great coach. USC's in a pretty good situation, but they really do need to get the defense figured out. Um, but yeah, it's not looking good. I think the Pac-12 is probably the most entertaining conference right now at the moment. You got so many different moving parts, and you got Colorado and UCLA and Washington State kind of in there as trap teams against some of these teams that are a little bit higher up, like Washington, Oregon, USC. So I mean, this is USC's chance. If they could blow out Notre Dame and they shut them down on defense, I'll have a little bit more confidence in them moving forward. Yeah. So I mean, we'll just see what happens with that. You have Texas, they slipped down to 9 after their loss. They really don't have anything left on the schedule, so really Texas should just win out, and it should be an OU Texas conference championship rematch. We'll see how mentally tough they are coming off a loss like that, and we'll see how they bounce back. But they don't really have much of a schedule going forward.
Who's that?
At Texas. Like they pretty much should just win out the rest of their season. Looking at their schedule, they don't really play anybody, so they're in a good position to bounce back after the loss.
And then Texas Tech at the end of the year. I'm telling you, Texas Tech's a sleeper this year. I don't know what it is. That they'll probably lose like 4 or 5 games, but they're gonna fuck somebody's year up. I feel it.
That'd be devastating blow to Texas because I don't know if there's I don't know though. I feel like they could even get in the Big 12 championship with 2 losses.
Like they're not good, but they're gonna ruin somebody. I feel it. I don't know why. All right. Well, I guess we can jump into our particular teams. You can start.
Yeah, this was a big performance from OU. I think the highlight of this game for me was when Texas was at the 1 yard line and OU stopped them 4 times in a
Yeah,
row.
I'm so mad at me. I think I was like changing my kid's diaper or something like that, and I was like, "Fuck!" At that point, I was like, "Okay, they're gonna score. Like it's just it's a guarantee." So they were at the 1. It was like first down, and I was like, "Okay, there's almost 0% chance they don't score here." I came back and I was like, "What the fuck happened?"
Yeah, we just boom, boom,
Were
boom,
they like
boom.
trying to just run it like 3 times
They
or
ran
what?
it 3 times, then on the fourth time they threw it and they caught it, but we like pushed them out of the end zone before they could get in. And that was really, I think, what saved the game for OU because that would have been. And then there's also like when they were driving that last time when Texas had the ball and they kicked that field goal. Like I was like, if OU gives up a first down right here, I think it's over because Texas, there's the clock's not on OU side. Texas, if they get in the end zone, it's probably over. But
Yeah.
Venables called the timeouts, which it was
It was
interesting to see
at
him
the
call the
time everybody
timeouts.
was like, "What the fuck is he doing?" Like, and
He was like, okay, I got to come up with something to get us a
yeah,
stop. And then once we got the ball, I was like, I think Dylan Gabriel's got it.
was it
And
like 1:27 on the clock or something like that?
yeah, he
Yeah, because
marched
they
down the
okay,
field.
117 was left after they scored. So the man scored under a minute and a half, drove 75 yards in a minute and 2 seconds. It was impressive. He looked really good. And
That was his best.
looking just kind of like at the stats and stuff, like Texas should have won this game. Like the 3 turnovers and like you guys not scoring only other on one of those possessions, the time of the possession, the total yards, like everything. Like they should have won the game. They just didn't. And you guys, they got out coached and you guys found the way to win. And it's just impressive, like for OU. I I like it.
it
I like
was
it a
it was
lot.
so good seeing like after all of last year and even early this year, fans calling for Dylan Gabriel to get benched. it's finally over. He could finally get the respect he deserves. He
He's
he he put himself up there now. Like
he's
now you
good
got
this
an
year.
argument for him. Like he's obviously not the best quarterback OU's ever had. It's just a really tough school to be the best they've ever
Yeah.
had. But now he's up there in the
Well, he's
conversation.
only been there like 2 years, right?
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
does
So
have a year of eligibility after this year. I don't think he'll come back.
if they go like undefeated and like make it to like the the playoffs and maybe even the championship, like that's just gonna bump his stock up even more. And if he's projected first round, like if I was him, I would just go.
Yeah, I don't see him
Because he's
coming
not gonna
back.
he's not gonna go to the top. He's not gonna be a top 3 QB pick. So he's not gonna go to like a terrible team more than likely. So I would just be like, let's get it.
Yeah, there was a lot of just false narratives going into this game. Like OU had no shot, and it's so funny because all I've heard since Venables got hired from Colin Cowherd is just like
It's my dude.
that was the worst hire. They
Yeah.
made a terrible choice. And then I watched his show on Monday. Like, all right, what's he gonna say? And he skimmed over it so quick. He was just like, yeah, OU played really good. They were the better team on Saturday. And then he quickly changed the subject to but I think Texas, they're going to be heavily favored in that Big 12 championship. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, you guys can't even just be like, yeah, we got this one wrong. You got to
He's not
just
super
keep
big
going.
on like admitting when he's wrong. I feel like it takes him a while. Like he was like super like hard on Baker for like the longest time. He's like Baker's not good, da da da, just dogging. And look at him now, Baker. He's like almost revived his career in Tampa. It's kind of cool to see.
He hates just that. He just hates
I
it.
feel like
He
he
hates
hates OU.
Oklahoma. He
Yeah, I
hates
don't
the
know.
state of Oklahoma.
I don't know why. He's like I think he's a big USC fan, so I think that
He
plays
is.
into it. So like when they got Lincoln Riley, like you guys coach and your quarterback, he was just like I don't get the hate. Like before this, like I wonder if he was still like as critical. Well, I guess he was because he was so critical of Baker. So like I don't understand what the problem is
No,
with
see, the thing
OU.
is, people didn't like Lincoln Riley until he went to USC. Then that's when the whole national media
Yeah,
changed their opinion on him. Like Lincoln Riley's a great coach. Well,
he's the
a
best
year
coach in
ago,
college football.
you guys were saying like criticizing his defense, rightfully so. It's really interesting how this is all unfolded because now it feels like we're better off without Lincoln Riley. Now we feel like we're in
Yeah,
a better position without him.
the entire like feel and vibe of the team's completely different.
Like I feel
Like
like last year was the best thing to happen to us.
the players really seem bought in. They're playing hard. They got heart. They're playing for the school. They're not playing for themselves. Like Spencer Rattler leaving too, I think was big for you guys. Caleb leaving was big for you guys because those guys seem kind of selfish. They're like me guys. I'm worried about
Yeah.
getting me to the league. Um, and then all these receivers are like, "Well, fuck, I'm gonna go play for the. I want to go play catch balls from the best quarterback in the country because it's gonna get me to the league. Like, fuck the school." It just doesn't feel that way right now. Everybody's like bought in, and you can even see it in this game. Like everybody was like, "Okay, this is our rival. Like playing hard." John at the team. Like it was a good OU Texas like old school game. It felt like it wasn't. I don't know. It
Going
had a
into it, it
different
felt
vibe.
like I think I said this last week. It feels like the most important one we've had, just because of what was on the line. It's the first time since like 2009 where they're both like
Yeah, ranked inside the
highly ranked.
yeah
In I mean,
undefeated. I think is what it was since like 08, 09.
yeah, I do feel bad for Texas fans. I hate to say it. I
Ah,
mean,
fuck them.
I don't, but I do. Like the ones that aren't constantly like just hating. Because
I
I
mean,
mean,
I think Texas is still back. I don't think they're like this is ruining their season or everything Sarkeesian's built. I think they got a lot to like look forward to. They still got I'm pretty sure a good recruiting class. You got Arch Manning on the bench, so that's pretty big for them. I mean, whether or not he's good or not, nobody really knows because he hasn't played yet. Is Quinn Ewers a senior? Is he leaving?
I don't think he's a senior, but he is leaving. I think he's a redshirt sophomore, but he's projected first round, so there's no way he
Yeah.
stays.
Yeah, I would probably not, unless he's just really kind of bought into the Texas program too. But I don't know. I don't know anything about him or Texas football really, so not sure what's going on down there.
Yeah, I mean Texas, they look good. I
They
mean
look, they
they
did look
started
good.
shaky. That's what that start is really what got them because they started terrible. Pick on the
And
first drive.
they're more than likely going to win out. So it's gonna be a rematch in the Big 12 championship, and that would terrify me if I was OU. Like I wouldn't really want to play them again.
I don't because of the revenge factor, and there's certain things some of the players are doing where I'm like, you're giving them too much motivation. Like I wish we would
Yeah,
have stayed a little bit more quiet about this win and just
they
like
moved along.
let it go. I'm glad we have a bye this weekend because this would like if we had to play the Saturday, I feel like that would be a game where we could have lost just because all the emotions
On the
from last
road.
week. But we got a bye. We're at home against UCF then in like 2 weeks from now. So that'll be a fun game because I'll be at that game and it'll be the first game I think I've been to where OU's like
You're talking
got
about
hopes.
BYU?
Uh, you're on Texas's schedule.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I was like, I don't see UCF. What the fuck are you
Yeah,
talking
we
about?
we got we got
My bad,
UCF.
my bad. Marty getting kind of intoxicated.
Since I've been going to games, we haven't really had title hopes except for the first game, which we like were losing the whole game. So I just saw them fade the whole entire game. This will be the first one where everybody's actually like,
The
we
crowd's
actually
gonna
got
be
something.
the crowd's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I
Hell
think
yeah.
UCF will. I mean, UCF got kind of
That's
destroyed
crazy.
last
You guys
year.
only have two more home games, or no, I guess three. I thought this was an at. So 3-3. It's not terrible.
I think we got a little bit tougher of a schedule than Texas does down the stretch.
I think so too.
Because if Jalen Daniels comes back, by the time we play Kansas, we're at Kansas and Lawrence. That could be a really tough game.
Daniels might be back, but fuck, I don't know. Probably not. He's probably never playing again at this rate.
Oh,
He's back. Like it's his back. Like he's got tightness in his back. Just get out there and throw the ball, bro. Fuck.
yeah, Oklahoma State. I can't count them out. They look pretty good
No,
against K State, and
they did.
it's the last bedlam, and they're really upset about us leaving. I think we got to really take that one serious.
Yeah, I would agree. Because
I think that's a big
if you
thing.
guys go down early, it could be over. Like the momentum would be completely gone, and that crowd's gonna be fucking nuts. That crowd gets crazy.
Yeah, I mean the thing with OU is like they look like they have one of the best teams in the country. Now
Yeah,
they just have to stay focused and not get too ahead of themselves.
exactly.
As fans, we could get it. Like I'm on this OU like fan page or whatever, and the fans are just so dumb. They're like, quit getting ahead of ourselves. We got to focus one game at a time. And it's like we're not on the team. Like what
That's what all the
does it
FSU
make
fans say too.
us?
Like,
Like, we're not. What difference does it make if we like think ahead?
yeah, like we have an almost zero impact on the team or the players,
Are they on the fan group?
unless they're on Twitter and they're like, "Fuck, these people are just dogging us." Which
We're
that does happen sometimes, but it's more so like when your team's bad. It's not as big of a deal when your team's undefeated and winning, and your fans are just overcritical.
Yeah,
So
I think we're gonna float under the radar again because honestly, I haven't heard a lot of media coverage of us like since that win. It's been pretty quiet, and I like it that way. Actually, it's better for us.
yeah, I feel like we're kind of in the same boat with that. Like
Yeah,
nobody,
Florida State isn't getting the coverage you'd think they'd be getting.
I mean, we get a little bit, but nothing like the year where we were undefeated and we did win the championship. Like but we was absolutely fucking dominant that year. Like we was blowing everybody out, and we're not blowing anybody out at this point, other than LSU and Southern Miss.
I think you
Uh,
guys have a good
I guess you
stretch.
could. I guess you can consider the Virginia Tech win a blowout, but it was way closer than I wanted it to be. It was they were making me a little uncomfortable in the second half. To be fair, I mean, contrary to the the score line and stats, but because we came out and we scored 22 straight, and then they started creeping back, and then like they fucking ran this kickoff back right after halftime, and I was like, oh, what are we doing? Like we're at home too, and it's that stadium was so quiet, like you couldn't even hear the crowd on TV. It was bad, and I was like, what are we doing? I was actually kind of terrified for a second.
I mean, ultimately, it ended up being a 20 plus point win, so it looks pretty good.
Yeah, at the end it does, but at the in the midst of that, it wasn't so much. So,
See, I feel like we
luckily
hold a team under 20. That's a pretty good defensive performance.
it is. But our defense is so like we give 313 yards to this team. That's just not good. Like we can't do that. They have more time of possession than us. Like I guess we're scoring pretty quick. That's just kind of the way our offense works. We're kind of a faster pace offense as well. our defense, man. I don't. I still want our defensive coordinator gone. I cannot stand him, man. Every game, it's the same thing. Wide open. It's like the OU game, kind of. I was like, why is everybody so wide open all the time? It's the same thing. Our secondary is just terrible. They're not good. They get exposed every game. We are very lucky. Our front seven is as good as they are. Like we have the NFL, talent on that front seven, but our secondary is gonna fuck around and lose us a game if we play up against a good QB with a good wide receiver core. Like I don't know what we're gonna do if we make the playoffs. So we have to match up against if USC makes it like at that type of offense or Washington or something like that. We just gotta hope we can score. And our offense gets kind of wishy washy too. Like we get caught trying to run stupid plays. We try to get fancy sometimes, and we fuck up. We'll fumble the ball doing a weird lateral pass play type of thing that we're trying to do, or something dumb. But I mean, I'm happy with the win. I'm not like mad. I'm just irritated with our secondary, and
Just
we get that
a little weary going forward.
very. Our we had fucking that transfer from Virginia, the quarterback Finchel Cypress. I want him off the team. He's that man gets exposed every game. He's supposed to be the this highly rated transfer. Like I guess he was good in Virginia. That man gets exposed every game. I don't know what he's doing. I see him out there just getting burnt, missing tackles. Uh, I mean, if our front seven's as good as they are, and if they play like they should, it should get us wins against good teams. And I think Jordan Travis is finally getting healthy. Hopefully, I think Johnny Wilson, he's not hurt. I think he might have just got a concussion or something like that.
He's
But
starting to turn it up a little bit
yeah,
now.
he is. He's not. I mean, he got 2 touchdowns, only 54 yards, but he's just so fucking big. Like he's basically like Kelvin Benjamin when we had him when we won the championship. Like same type of player, but Wilson I think's better. He's fast. He's once you get him in space, like he'll make a move and take it to the house. He can break tackles, but
He's a great guy. Like when you're in the goal line, you need to
yeah,
throw it up to somebody. He's got the he's got the size on whoever's defending him.
our wide receiver core is insane. We got Keon Coleman, who's looking like the number one wide receiver coming out, and I mean, other than Marvin Harrison, but he's gonna be the number one receiver. So I think Keon Coleman will probably be number two at this rate in particular time in the year. Trey Benson's an absolute animal, absolute dog. That dude is crazy. Somebody's gonna get a steal if they take him in the draft because I think Corum will probably go over him. There's another running back I'm missing. I can't remember his name. I mean, I don't think he'll go in like the first round or anything. He
I've
probably
seen him
like
projected a second round.
yeah, probably like the tail end of the second, maybe early third or something like that. But because he's just not one of those like jaw dropping like Bijan running backs or something like that. But that dude's a fucking unit. So I'm happy with the win. I'm happy. We got Syracuse next week. North Carolina blew them out. So if we're not blowing them out, like I'm gonna be a little upset because I think they beat them like 40-7 or something like that. And if we're not doing something similar, then there's something wrong. There's something wrong, and it definitely seems like there's just we're missing something. We're just not connecting yet. We're not firing on defense, and it's still early. And luckily, we're still undefeated. Luckily, they ain't cost us a game yet, so we still got time to figure it out. I'm not throwing in the towel and waving the red flag on the D just yet. But
Yeah, I
it's
think as long
definitely
as Florida State just catches fire at the right time, like towards the end of the season. I mean, you got Duke in 2 weeks. We'll see where Riley Leonard is. If he's playing, that's going to be a tough game. If
yeah.
he's
He's
not, I think Florida State should probably blow him out.
We should absolutely. And, mobile quarterbacks have just been cooking us all year, and that's kind of what happened in this game. That's the only reason it was so close. Like, this man had 80 yards rushing on 14 carries, and at first glance that might not seem like a lot, but if like you got him at second and long, third and long, and he busts off and makes a first down, like that's so like demoralizing to your defense on a drive, and it
Yeah.
just keeps your drive going. Um, And I mean, like looking at like the stats, like they didn't really do anything, but like how they scored 17, like you could take the kickoff return, they should be a 10. So like it would technically you should be 39 to 10. I consider the kick return a fluke. Like that doesn't happen very often. So I think I'm just being overcritical, and I'm kind of like this every week. I'm hard on my own team for no reason, I think.
Well, I mean, once you're at like a championship level where you really feel like you could contend, you
Yeah,
start
that's
nitpicking how you're playing against these teams that aren't that good because you're just
yeah,
like, well, what happens when we play like a really
a
good
good
team?
team.
But
And
sometimes it doesn't matter because like OU's like deficiencies against lesser ranked teams were the same ones against Texas, but
yeah,
we still overcame
found you
them.
found the ways to win.
So I mean, like if you just maximize your strengths, you
Yeah.
should overcome your weaknesses as long as there's more strengths than there are weaknesses. Which I think with Florida State, there's definitely more strengths than weaknesses on the team.
And we got a really good coach. I think he makes really good adjustments. Contrary to the scoreline, we are kind of a second half team. We did put up 22 in the first half, but we do play a lot better in the second half. We make really good adjustments and we figure teams out. So I think we'll be okay. I don't see why we don't win out. I really don't see it. If we make it to the ACC championship, we'll probably play. I think we could beat Louisville. I really do. North Carolina concerns me a lot. Wait, Drake May is just really good, and he would just pick apart our secondary. So like unless their O line's not as good, like our front seven would have to just get there really often to kind of get him out of rhythm. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I still think we win out.
Yeah, I think so too. I think honestly, I don't even know if North Carolina will like go into like championship week undefeated. I mean, they might, but they haven't like totally, blown my socks off or anything. Watched them. The Syracuse win was the first time I was like, well, okay,
They
this is
look
this
so
is
much.
what Drake May was doing last year.
Yeah, they look so much better last year for sure. Uh, I don't know. They're a weird team. All right. Who was your game of the week?
I
What
had
did
USC Arizona. I
yeah,
mean,
we done?
OU Texas was obviously my game of the week,
Yeah.
but USC Arizona was the other game that really caught my.
I I had Noah Fafita or whatever, however you pronounce his last name. He was my player of the week. The dude's a freshman and comes in and throws 300 yards and 5 touchdowns and on the road in a big game that they were expected to get blown out in. I think the spread was like 21.5 again. And he played like crazy. The dude was he was cooking. And then like he threw that pick six, and I think that's really what ultimately lost them the game because it gave the momentum back to USC and got them back in the game. Pretty sure they were up to like 17-0 at
They're
that point.
upset. And I mean, if they had scored again, like made it
Oh,
20
it
or
could have been over
24, it was
because
probably over.
they were getting after Caleb Williams almost every play. I don't know. I wish I could. Where's the sacks at? It's
We always do this every week where the sacks are like harder to find than the rest of the. I think
it's
if you go up, maybe no. How did we do this? Because they always don't have the sacks. It's like ridiculous that they
oh,
don't
here it
just have
is.
sacks
So
as a stat.
they only ended up with 4, but it seemed like way more at the time. He was getting pressured all the time.
Well, he was having to run and make throws on the run a lot. And like I think what Arizona did this game is they figured out how to beat Caleb Williams. And obviously, Caleb Williams is still going to have a great game no matter what. He's just going to have a good game. You just got to get over that.
Yeah,
But you got to force him to beat you on his feet. I feel
yeah,
like
and they
that's
did
how
because
teams are going to beat him.
he only threw for 219. I mean, granted, like that's still pretty solid, but he only had 1 passing touchdown. Where's his rushing?
3 rushing
40,
touchdowns.
33 rushing touchdowns and 41 yards. That's kind of nuts. So like he was getting all these kind of like in the red zone. So like they had everybody covered, and he was just escaping out of the pocket, and nobody was really there to get him, or he was making moves and like breaking tackles in the backfield. The dude, he's so elusive. It's very crazy. Like for somebody his size, he don't really look like that type of guy.
He's only like 6 foot, I think, but he just moves around like somebody a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, 6'1", 215.
I mean, that 215, that's some weight on him, but still.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think Arizona really kind of figured out the key. And if a team has like a really athletic linebacker that you could put as a spy on him, I think you got a good chance of beating
Yeah.
USC if you could do that. Like, obviously, he's going to get his plays and you just got to deal with it. But that
It,
defense, you can expose their defense, and if you could just
yeah,
make them have an average game, you have a shot at winning.
they beat them like on every aspect of the board, like 506 yards to 365. The turnovers were even, more first downs, like double the time, or not double, but almost over 10 more minutes time of possession. Like that's crazy. Like they should have won this game. Um, I think if they were at home, probably. USC got lucky. They got very lucky. They should, and then there's a reason they dropped. There's a reason they do not look unbeatable.
Now that quarterback for Arizona, I don't know if they'll stick with him the rest of the
If
year.
if I'm him, I'm transferring next year. Like that dude, he's cooking.
No, I think
I'm
he's a
like,
future start. And then Arizona's moving to the Big 12, and the Big 12 is a little questionable next year.
oh,
Like
there's no defense in the Big 12. He's gonna be
maybe
throwing for
Arizona will be a pretty good team.
man's gonna throw for like 400 to get every game. He could be the new Michael Penix and Caleb Williams next year.
That guy looked like a star to me the whole game. He was
Yeah,
poised. He
I
was
look.
like even talking like he knew more than the coaches at certain points. Like going into the second overtime after you score a touchdown, you have to go for a two.
Yeah,
And the coach didn't know that, and he knew it. He was like, "We got to go for two." And the coach like made him go to the sideline for them to kick the field goal, and they had to call a timeout to go
yeah.
send him back out there, and they got it luckily.
I'm
Uh,
telling you, man, that pick six really ruined the game because like after that pick six, he wasn't like that next like drive or two. He was a little shaky. They came out and they weren't really moving the ball like they were before then. And then he was able to get his composure back and start playing again. So the pick six really ruined it. It's unfortunate. It was such a bad read too. It was an out route on the sideline, and the cornerback just seen it the entire way. It was a good play by him, but bad read by the quarterback. And that just comes with experience and playing time. It's like you said, it's only his second game. That's nuts.
they look, and I mean, honestly, like you got to give Caleb Williams a lot of credit. He just finds a way to win every time,
Yeah.
despite what his team's doing. And honestly, it's starting to look like his receiving core isn't what we thought it was at the beginning of the year. Like he's kind of just out there on him, like on his own. Like his receivers are good, don't get me wrong, but he's really got to carry the team on his back,
Yeah.
and he's
If
doing it.
if they didn't have him, they're probably sitting at 2, 3 losses at this point with somebody of like a lower caliber.
Yeah, Greg McElroy said they would probably be like a 7-5 team at the end of the season without him, and I was like, that's
It's
probably
crazy.
true.
That's actually crazy. It is what it is, but best performance by team, I got Louisville.
I not to say I should have picked Louisville.
Like I also have them as like my defensive performance of the week. They have 5 turnovers. Like
They played a phenomenal. They were their offense was cooking in that running game. They were just
they
launching
just
off these big chunks, big chunk plays.
they just dominated. Like I mean, it was pretty close for a good bit, but it seemed like they had control of the game the entire time. The entire time.
That crowd showed up. Their coach has done a phenomenal job. Brom, I think is his name. He went to Louisville, and I believe his son is like the offense coordinator or something like that as well. He was a new hire, and I remember that this guy on ESPN. I got to remember his name. I got to look him up at some point. But he was like really high on Louisville. He's like Louisville is going to be really good this year, and everybody kind of laughed him off on the
Yeah.
show. And I was like, oh, I don't know anything about Louisville. This guy could be right, and sure enough, Louisville has looked phenomenal this year.
Yeah. I I wouldn't want to play him, especially at home or I guess on the road. Jack
There's Jack
Harlow in the
Harlow.
building. And maybe he's the secret sauce. I don't know. I'm assuming he probably goes to the majority of the games because he's from
He's
Louisville.
from Louisville.
But they're actually good this year, so maybe he's the secret weapon. But they just dominated Notre Dame on defense. So that's why I was gonna go Michigan because they blew Minnesota out of the water. I think they ended up with I think they had 2 pick sixes in that game, which is very impressive.
Yeah,
Two
it's
in
really
a
impressive.
game's kind of wild, but I only went this way to the 5 turnovers. Like that ultimately is probably what lost Notre Dame the game. Sam Hartman was making bad decisions.
That Louisville crowd was just so crazy. That was one of the better crowds I've seen this year. I
Yeah,
bet they probably stormed the field at the end. I didn't
they
watch the
they
end of the
did
game.
they did.
Yeah, well, yeah, because Jack Harlow was out on the field. Yeah, There's something like, a lot of the times like certain celebrities are just like annoying when they're at games, but something about Jack Harlow, I think he's a really likable guy. I don't know why.
He's just not one of those like loud celebrities. Like you don't really like hear from him too much. Like he's not like making waves. Like he's just minds his own fucking business. And other than his MGK beef, which I don't even think is very warranted, but whatever.
I think Jack Harlow clears MGK by a lot.
We might have to go. We
Quite
about to go off on a
honestly.
music tangent. We better start listening to music. This is now turning into a music channel. Um, and then most disappointing performance. I'm assuming we probably both have Miami.
I
If
actually
not,
I went with Notre Dame, so we just kind of just talked about that.
yeah, before this, I was making my list and I was like, we're gonna have like the same picks for everything.
No, my best performance was Georgia. Um, but then when he said Louisville, I was like, yeah, that's kind of more impressive than Georgia. But it was
Yeah,
the first time Georgia has looked like they look like they're awake now, and it's like
yeah. And
scary.
it's too late for everybody else at this
But
point.
yeah, Miami is a very good choice for a worst performance. But I mean,
Turnovers.
they
Oh
played kind of
no.
like they had the
They
game
dominated
won. They
them.
had the
I
game
don't know how they
won.
I don't know how they only scored 20 points. They have 453 yards. They've double the yards almost. Is that double? 250? No, that's like 500.
Close. It's pretty close though.
Close. Quick math. Georgia Tech just never has an offense. They don't have offense. But they was able to just, kind of get the points that they needed. And God, that fumble is so bad. So bad. God, it's great. It's great to see.
That might be one of the like worst plays in college football history. Like,
It's gonna be
how did that happen? Like, what are you thinking when you do that? You costed your team like a playoff spot potentially. Like if Miami was able to win out, if they went out the rest of the way, they ain't getting in the playoffs with that
they got
on their
North
resume.
Carolina on the road next week.
Nah,
They're getting blown out.
they're gonna lose to Clemson. I think honestly.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Clemson almost lost to Wake Forest. I don't know what's going on down there. We'll take a peek at that actually. I'm
Yeah, what is
curious.
going on with
I
Clemson
didn't
right
actually look
now?
at the game. I was just kind of seeing it on the bottom of the screen, like the score, and
Oh my god, yeah, that was a
I
close
was
game.
like, hey, yo, it's at home, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, Death Valley.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Maybe the two turnovers did it. Time of possession's close. Almost 100 yards more. Klubnik might not.
Shipley out there doing
Yeah,
this
that dude
thing.
pisses me off, bro. I'm so ready for him to leave, and I think he can come back next year. Oh, Jesus Christ. Drinking just gives me the burps, and I hate it. But please leave, bro. Please. I'm sick of this dude because he absolutely kills us every year. And he's so good. If he's not some sort of like rotational running back on some team in the league, like I think somebody's missing out because like he's not the biggest dude, but he's so like I just can't explain it. He's got that like just the it thing. He finds like the gaps in the line. He does the dirty running. Like
He's kind of got
he's
that
good.
that Swiss Army knife thing going with him too, where you could kind of catch a little bit.
He's 5'11", 210. So I mean he's not like the biggest dude. Like Derrick Henry's like 270. So like he's like 60 pounds lighter than Derrick Henry. Like I mean that's not like a normal comparison, just saying, but
Yeah, I think Klubnik was not a good. I think they should have stuck with DJ, like from the looks of it.
it's looking like it because DJ is having a much better year. And I think if they had DJ, they probably would have beat us. They'd probably be undefeated.
They held their quarterbacks to such a high standard to where like DJ just in their eyes wasn't good enough.
Oh,
And
and
then
fucking Dabo is like doing his weird fucking QB competitions in the middle of the year, like taking people out and switching them, like he did with the kickers, and ultimately lost them a game. But like what are you doing, bro? Just pick somebody, and that's probably why DJ left because they had no confidence in him. And look at him now. Y'all fucked up. But whatever. I mean, they lost everybody else's gain. Nobody wants
defense
to see.
is still looking all right. I mean, they're not looking great. You could definitely tell like they're missing Venables. The offense though is really the issue for me. Like typically they have a pretty good offense, and I mean they other than this
They scored
game, their offense has
seven.
looked all right.
They scored 7 at Duke, 24 against us. I mean, they beat Syracuse. If they beat Syracuse that bad, we should hang 60 on them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
uh, I mean, they could lose to Miami. This game could go either way. I wouldn't bet on this game if you gave me money. They could go either way. It's weird. NC State's a weird trap team. I don't like NC State. I never like playing NC State. NC State terrifies me because they always have a solid defense.
Their defense is really good,
Their
especially
D
looking
their
at
D line is always just nasty.
well in Louisville, like they struggled against NC State, which is why I thought that Louisville wasn't going to do good against Notre Dame. So it makes me think maybe NC State just has a really good defense.
So I mean, it's looking like they probably got three, maybe four losses on the schedule. Like they could lose this game. Could be a loss. Could be a loss. Probably a loss. This could go either way. So I think they got two 50-50 games and like two. I think Notre Dame and North Carolina are definitely losses. So I think at most they finished with four losses, which is such a bad year for this team. Like after the way that they've been playing the last couple of years, like they were in their dynasty, and now like look at them. Like that was their dynasty, and it's looking like it's over.
It might be.
They're gonna have to hit on the transfer portal or something for a QB if they're not sold with Klubnik.
I mean, with them bringing in Garrett Riley for their offense coordinator, he did a great job with TCU last year. I was kind of expecting big things from their offense, and maybe it's the quarterback, maybe it's just the new system. The players aren't really getting it yet. Maybe they need another year to get in the system before they start really
Yeah,
kicking things up.
maybe.
I don't think Clemson's done. I think
Uh,
Clemson is just they I don't know if they'll get back to where they were.
I think it might be a little while. It could be a couple of years, if ever, because like this dynasty is the only time they've ever been good in like a fucking long time. I don't even know the last time like before this,
They were good in
stint.
they're good in the 80s, and then I think it went all the way up until like the early 2010s is when they started clicking again
Yeah,
and
they started getting
playing
it
really
going.
good.
That's a long time. Disappointing player of the week. I have like a I have a player in an entire like position or an entire defense.
Oh yeah, I ended up going with Cam Ward for my most disappointing performance.
I got Will Howard.
Oh my god, he was awful.
Oh,
He was awful in
the
that
only
game.
thing that saved him, like, and being close in the game was that man run for 100 yards. I don't know why they weren't letting that man go faster, like, or not faster, but like more, like just let the dude run, like whatever plays, because he busted. I think his like he did a 70-yard run, so you could probably take 70 yards out of that and kind of look at his rushing as a total. But obviously like that was like their best option because he wasn't throwing very well at all. 44.1%, three interceptions, he got sacked twice, 42.4 QBR. Uh terrible performance. They were lucky to even be within that range of being close to winning the game. I was like, what are you doing, bro? He was I think he overthrew like seven balls. It was like wide open people, and he's like throwing the ball 100 miles an hour on somebody going on a slant, and it's just flying over him.
He looked. I mean, it was just like I going in this game. I thought K State was going to blow Oklahoma State out of the water. Oklahoma State looked so bad. Now it's like, is K State really bad, or is OSU just like, are they finally getting it figured out? I want to
Well,
lean
I
towards
mean,
K State's bad.
I don't know. They beat UCF. UCF beat or UCF got blown out by Kansas, so like that way don't look as good. They barely lost to Mizzou, and Mizzou was looking solid, but Mizzou just lost to LSU. But they probably should have won that game. And my other disappointing player, I guess performance or player of the week was LSU's entire defense.
Yeah,
Holy shit!
that was rough.
Holy shit! They don't have a defense. It's non-existent. They gave up 527 yards. Uh, I think that's like been a consistent thing. Let me check. Okay, so we'll go to the Ole Miss game. This was like the SEC record for like total yards in a game. I'm pretty sure they gave up 706. So like that's over 1,000 yards in two games. Like that's insane. So and then let's see what else we got here. Check Arkansas 426. 201. Okay,
See,
they kind of shut
that's a
Mississippi
good
State down.
performance there.
Yeah, it's a good performance. That I'm sure that's way bad. And then we put 494 on them, so they're over 2,000 total yards through like 6 games. That's insane. An SEC defense. This is a Big 12 high school defense. I don't know. I was convinced like when we beat them, I was like, okay, they got a good defense. We just played really good. We blown them out. Like, we're good. Ain't looking like that. It's looking like they're very bad.
I feel
And
bad for Jaden Daniels because he's having such a good year, and
they're
it's
so
just,
lucky. They're so lucky.
It's just looking bad because of the defense. Like, but he's having a good year.
They're so lucky. I thought Mizzou was gonna win this game. They probably should have. Because they were up right here, and then LSU takes the lead, and then they throw a picks or not yeah, they throw a pick six on I think within their 20 to finish the game. So but holy shit. You got anybody else for disappointing
Yeah, I went
player?
with Cam Ward, Washington State. He didn't have like a god awful game, but anytime I have somebody in like my Heisman top five, and then they have like not a good performance, that's kind of where they end up. He threw 2 interceptions, 19 for
Oh my
39,
god.
not a very good completion rating, and then he only threw 197. Yeah,
32
48% completion is terrible.
No, that's bad. Maybe UCLA's just got that defense this year. It's kind of looking like that. Let's see what they've given up. Okay, so let's see. We'll check Utah. What they give up to Utah? 219. They forced a turnover, 13 first downs with 34 minutes of possession time. Like that's pretty good. Ideally, they probably should have won this game. I think if their QB was a little more seasoned, they'd probably be undefeated by now. Or
Yeah, I
at
think what
this
just
point,
having a true freshman at quarterback's really their downfall at the moment. It's looking like. See that Coastal Carolina game is what made me think UCLA wasn't going to be that good this year
at
because I thought that should
345,
have been like a blowout, but they ended up being pretty close.
they should have lost this game. The 3 turnovers kind of won it for them. They got dominated in possession. First downs they lost. They would have got dominated in yards if they didn't turn the ball over 3 times. 2 interceptions and probably a fumble. Ah, it's tough. But yeah, Cam Ward, not his best game. It's unfortunate. I was convinced they was gonna win this game pretty handily. I bet on them, and I think this is the game that burned me in my parlay.
Yeah, I bet
When I
on
picked
them
OU to win.
as well, and I thought they were gonna win. They didn't.
This,
UCLA though, they're looking like they could be a problem in the Pac-12.
this game, I don't know which way to go with this game. Like
I think Washington State bounces back because I mean Arizona's defense is not like that defense is good,
yeah,
but
and then see, I'm gonna fuck around and bet on Washington State again, and then they'll Noah Fafita or whatever his name is gonna throw for 608 touchdowns or something crazy.
so y'all thought this was a fluke?
Yeah,
Nope.
you thought this was a game? I'm that guy. I'm him. Because I mean, his first game he played Washington on the road.
And they
They
played them pretty
almost
close.
they almost were there, and then this game they almost beat USC on the road. Like that's his only 2 games he's played is on the road against the 2 best teams, arguably in the conference. Like, so I don't see why they couldn't win this game. I think they're at home.
It
I
looks
don't
like
see.
it's at Washington State.
Is it?
Yeah, usually they have the
Yeah, it
Washington
is.
State.
It'd be a good game. I think I'm gonna watch that one if I can. I hope it's not at like 9 o'clock at night, like most Pac-12 games are. That shit's so annoying. Okay, well, we're rolling to our Heisman top 5. This is where things get interesting. I
All
think
right.
our list could be semi different. I think we'll probably have 3, maybe 4 the same, and I think our fourth or fifth pick could be different.
Yeah, see, the fifth pick was so hard for me to decide. Like, there's so many guys I had to choose from. I ended up going with Bo Nix, even though he didn't play, just because he's had a pretty good year so far. He's going into a really big game. It was him. Maybe I was considering Marvin Harrison Jr. But his stats
Interesting.
weren't like crazy. So I ended up going Bo Nix for the time being. I don't know how long he's gonna stay up here, but he's having a good little year so far. He didn't even play last week. So that's
Yeah.
that's why like he's not like higher or anything.
I dropped him out of my 5.
I mean, that's fair
I
enough. I consider dropping him out of my top five.
which is crazy because I have like a tie for 5. I couldn't decide. I couldn't. I have I got a tie between Jaden Daniels and Shador, which is crazy because they both have 2 losses.
Yeah,
But like the stats is
stats. Yeah,
insane. Like 2,000 yards. I think he has more passing yards than anybody in the country, which is actually wild because the like this right here is because of his O line. This is it. The 35th in the country, like that's pretty bad. But 16 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. It's because of his O line. Like his QBR is so bad because he gets sacked so much. He's been sacked. Here, like I have it pulled up somewhere. 30 times. The next closest person is this dude for Hawaii, 25. Like, look at everybody else here. Nobody even over 15. Like, nobody's even close to half. Penix, 3. Daniels, almost half. Carson Beck, 3.
that's crazy.
Dylan Gabriel, 5. Caleb Williams, 11. Like, that's insane. Like, and he's going nuts. Look, way more, not way more, but he's got like 21 more passing yards than Penix. Tied for touchdowns, tied for interceptions. Completion percentage is about the same. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. It's super impressive for how bad the O line is and how how much pressure he faces week in and week out. And then Jaden Daniels is kind of right there, but he's playing like he's got a better O line, and then he should be. They should have not 2 losses. I don't know what the fuck's going on with him, but it's the defense, obviously. He's just on fire. So I think he could definitely make it to the New York Heisman ceremony.
Yeah, especially if they win out. Shador. I mean, we'll see how their season wraps up. He's obviously he's having a great season. If they
Yeah.
just had a little bit better of a team, he would easily be the favorite right
I
now.
mean, you can equate it to the Lamar Jackson year. Like, I mean, he's not having that type of year, but like, it could be that type of year for Shador. If he beats everybody statistically, like they could be like, oh, why not? He's better on paper than everybody else with no O line. It's just they really can't drop any more wins. Let's check their schedule real quick. I don't know what they got going on.
I was looking at their schedule,
Oh, they
like
got Stanford. If he don't throw for 500 this game, yeah, I think this is a good stat padding game. This will be very.
it's hard to like they might not win a game after Stanford. Like
Yeah,
it's
they might
possible
not.
that they don't.
I didn't think this game was going to be that close, but Arizona State played USC
See
pretty close
close.
too. So
Yeah, people
yeah,
were overreacting like, "Oh, Colorado beat this 1-4 team." I'm like, "Well, this tells me you guys aren't watching the games because Arizona State
yeah,
looked great against
yeah.
USC." And just jump into conclusions.
I think they could beat Oregon State. I mean Utah had some success, but they had no quarterback, so like Utah probably should have won that game. This it might end up being a shootout. This game probably be a shootout because it didn't look like Arizona really had too much of a defense other than kind of like the pressures that were kind of getting to Caleb Williams. And I mean
Yeah,
they just kind of had him figured out. It seemed. Washington State probably be a shootout. I would assume Cam Rising would be back this game, so they're not winning that week. I don't see it.
I hope like because like they should blow out Stanford. That would be my
They
belief.
have to. If they don't blow out Stanford, then we're gonna be like, okay, they're not as good as we're kind of thinking.
What's unfortunate about it is that so they beat Stanford, they got 5 wins, so they'll need one more to get bowl eligible, and it's a tough stretch to get bowl eligible after that.
I think it's gonna be one of these two. Maybe
I,
this one.
I don't know. I think Colorado's
What
got
one of these
another.
3 games is winnable for them. One of the 3. 2 of them are at home.
They got another upset in them. I think they do. They
I
got
think
one more
so too.
upset in them.
Fuck, watch them win out. That'd be crazy.
I love it.
Hey, I mean, they're kind of rocking the same thing. We don't need a defense. We got a quarterback that's throwing for 400 a game and going
Oh, Travis
crazy.
Hunter's coming
Yeah,
back too. I
and
forgot
he's
about
back too.
that. Yeah,
So
with Travis Hunter coming back, that could change everything because they're looking really, really good before he went out.
and it's like the perfect game to like kind of get the momentum back, get him kind of back into like into game. I don't say game shape because he's only missed 3 weeks, but like what has he been able to do in those 3 weeks with his ruptured liver or whatever the fuck he had, kidney, spleen, gallbladder, whatever the fuck his deal was.
lacerated liver is what he had. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
if they could play USC that close without Travis Hunter, I don't see any reason why they can't at least beat one of these teams going down the
yeah.
stretch. Because I mean, USC's got the best offense in college football, and they played them that close without Travis Hunter. Then you add Travis Hunter, who plays both sides of the ball. I think they at least get one more. Actually, now that I look at it, now I forgot about Travis Hunter just because he's been out for the past like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
They probably beat Arizona with Travis Hunter.
I mean, if we're going off that same like side of the coin, like them playing USC that close without him, I don't see why they can't just win out. Like none of these teams have as good of an offense as USC, right? I would say
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Maybe Washington State. Yeah, maybe that's probably the best offense that they're gonna play, unless Cam Rising's back. Then it could be Utah. Um, the best defense they're gonna play is UCLA. So if they can squeak that one out, I don't see why they can't beat all of these teams. I think we'll really know at UCLA like what they look like, how we're gonna see them perform going to the end of the schedule.
Yeah, I think my problem with them is just how bad their O line is and how bad
God.
how bad their O line and their defense is. Just makes me like think they're not going to win like
Yeah,
all of these games. But I think with Travis Hunter in the mix, I think that definitely gives them an edge to where they're going to be in a bowl game at the end of the year for
I
sure.
hope so. It'd be cool. It'd be a cool story.
I mean, they
All
won
right.
one game last year. Now they're like
Yeah, about to be
about to be
bowl
bowl
eligible.
eligible.
Impressive. All right, we went off on a little Colorado tangent, which I feel like we got to touch on Colorado at least a little bit every year, not every year, every week with the
Yeah.
the hype. What you got? You got number 4.
I put Jordan Travis at 4. His passing stats just really haven't been super great the past few games. He's been like throwing under 200. But I just couldn't think of anybody like I could really. I can't justify putting Bo Nix above him until Bo Nix beats Washington.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know. I'm really mostly going off stats. Actually, I did have Bo Nix on here. I'll lie to you. I have Bo Nix at 4. I just overlooked my list. So I dropped Jordan Travis out, not Bo Nix. Yeah, he's playing well. He's just not having like the year I thought he was going to have.
Well, that
He's
342 that first week, you're thinking,
yeah,
okay, this is a
oh
high.
yeah, this is a Heisman year, and then
Give
he's
him
just
his
kind of like
Heisman.
I can't really explain why he's not throwing 300 at every game. I guess he don't need to. Um, he just does what he needs to do. He just keeps his head down. He makes the plays when he needs to make them. He makes the big plays when he needs to make them. He runs when he needs to. He's the guy. He's good. He's just not having a Heisman year. It's too late. It's too late.
I don't think it's too late if he turns it up and
If he wins out, if we win out and he turns it up, it's not. But he's already 1,000 yards behind Shador. He's almost 1,000 behind Caleb and Michael Penix. The touchdowns, he's already almost half behind them. I think they're all sitting at like 19, just passing. So let's see what his rushing is. He's got 2, so he's sitting at 14. I think Penix and them are sitting at like 19, just passing. So like he's got a lot of ground to make up, and our schedule ain't getting any easier.
yeah, I have a feeling this might be the last week. I have him on my list.
Yeah,
We'll just see how
I
everything else
mean,
shakes out.
I don't see why he don't throw for 300 this week. So like he probably could maintain that 4th, 5th spot depending on because if Bo Nix loses, he's probably going to drop out just like Quinn Ewers did on my list. If Penix loses, I don't think he drops out based on the way he's playing. Same with Caleb Williams. I think if he drops a loss, I don't think he's out of the running.
No,
But yeah, I don't know. I love the dude to death, and he's my dog. But
I feel like he at this point, Jordan Travis is more buying for an invitation to be at the ceremony than the actual trophy itself.
and I think that would be a win. I think that would be a win for him. I don't think he's really like. I don't think he cares about the Heisman, to be honest. Like that's not like what we're going for. He's such an unselfish player, and we're more so a running. We're trying to be a running first team. And you can see that last game with Benson having 200 yards rushing. Like we're obviously just trying to get the running game going. It takes more pressure off him and makes him not have to throw the ball as much. I don't know. Love the guy to death though. Yeah, I got Bo Nix at 4. You got Travis at 4. He got a 3.
3, I have Michael Penix Jr.
Ooh, okay, okay.
It's mainly just kind of punishing him for the bye week.
I'm assuming
Um,
you got fucking Dylan Gabriel at 2.
yeah, I do.
Okay. See, I got Dylan Gabriel at 3. So we can compare the stats real quick because I got Penix at 2. I dropped him because he had a bye. I moved Caleb Williams up to 1. So Penix, we'll just round him up to 2,000. Gabriel, we'll round him up to 1,900 just to make it easier. Quick math. So he's like 100 yards short, 16 touchdowns passing. They're even. Touchdown or interceptions even. They're neck and neck in QBR.
Dylan
Let's
has the edge in rushing, I believe. I think he's got
see.
like 5 or something.
Sacks might have taken his QBR down. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think he's only 2, 3. So yeah, the sacks is probably what brought his QBR down a little bit. No rushing touchdowns for Penix. 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. So he's up on the touchdowns. So I mean, yeah, you could definitely, and then he's got a better win. So you could definitely argue Dylan Gabriel being over Penix 100%. You could probably even argue Gabriel being over Caleb Williams because
Yeah, well,
Caleb Williams is
I think Gabriel's in a good position because
yeah.
if Williams drops like if Penix loses this weekend and then Williams like drops a couple of games, all Dylan Gabriel has to do is beat Texas in the Big 12 championship, and it's probably his Heisman.
He's just got to win out, and he's balling out. The dude's going crazy. He's got more passing yards than Caleb. It's the touchdowns that's got him up there because he's got 22, 25, 27, 28, 28 total touchdowns to Gabriel's 16 and
19 or 20, yeah, 20 total.
yeah, so he's 2 down. So I mean, yeah, you could definitely argue Gabriel second, Caleb Williams first, which
I think
so
this is like at this moment, I think this is the top 3 going the rest of the
yeah,
way.
it seems like it. As long as they all 3 just keep winning out, yeah, it'll be these 3 probably
Because
come
I think if Penix wins this weekend, I'll probably move him back above Gabriel because Gabriel's gonna be on a bye. So
yeah.
you move Penix up, and then if USC loses, Penix is number 1.
Well, you gotta look though, because so Penix just had his bye, right?
Yeah, he's coming off a bye.
So they're dead even basically. So like he's kind of got a leg up there because he just had out this week, and then Gabriel evened up the score. But Gabriel has like the biggest win of the year so far. So
Yeah, I mean that's what sets him apart to me
yeah.
because Penix obviously has better stats because he's played one less game than Gabriel has at this point, and
But
they're even, and he's got better
yeah,
stats really.
but then this Oregon game is going to
It's
equal
gonna
that
yeah,
Texas.
what's gonna get
So
him back
it's
up.
it's whether you value the Oregon win over the Texas win, and then stats against stats. It might
Well then
come.
you could even make the argument if Oregon wins, like, do you move Bo Nix up? Like,
Yeah, I would say he definitely moves probably to like 3.
so
But
maybe it's a 4-man race going down this stretch.
yeah, well, we really just got to kind of wait and see if this week's gonna it's gonna give us a lot of clarity on rankings and Heisman. This is a good matchup, and I'm excited for it because we already knocked Quinn Ewers out. He's fucking out, so that's nice. So we got some clarity there. I think we've shortened the list to probably like 7, maybe. It's these guys, Travis sitting on the outside, Cam
Marvin
Woods sitting
Harrison
on the outside.
Jr. You could make an argument for
Brock
Bowers.
Bowers, yeah. A lot of people were like, "Oh, he's gonna win it." I mean, let's look at his shit real quick. All right, 545, 4 touchdowns. I mean, that's not crazy, but dude's fucking averaging over 100 yards receiving a game. Other than these two, I didn't watch these games. So he probably didn't even play this game. Like, he just got 1 reception on it. I don't know what the fuck happened
He
there.
either did one, he got hurt, or they're just like, we don't need
Yeah,
you.
and then I don't know what happened against.
They struggled against South Carolina. That whole offense just
Yeah, the whole
didn't play
first
good.
half they were bad. So I think he picked up most of this in the second half. And then I'm pretty sure almost all of this against Auburn was the second half because they were shutting them down. I'm really curious how he measures up like right now against like I don't know what's like the best tight end recently to come out of college, like in the like recent years.
I can't think of one that was is like on his level. I really can't. Um, I
I
really
feel
can't
like
think of
there's
one.
been tight ends having better stat lines at this point in the year. Like
I'm sure there are, but he's on a bigger team.
there's no way he wins the Heisman.
Oh
No
no, he's not.
chance.
He's not gonna win the Heisman.
There's no way. Like I would put Travis Hunter above him right now, even missing 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get there. But if he keeps
Let's.
this up, like with these 100+ yard games, he might work his way into the conversation, depending on how everything shakes out.
I feel like there's a defensive player that's kind of going nuts.
Mm,
Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm thinking of NFL.
Go to do the interceptions and see how that changes things. If there's anything
Where's
like
the
somebody with a crazy amount of interceptions.
four?
Yeah, I mean, no, there's nobody on the defensive end that I
There's
think's
nobody with like
a
if
real threat.
yeah. I mean, if there was someone with like 8 or something like that, maybe. This dude's nuts. I remember like when the Colorado game, like he was going crazy and like he got hurt like 3 times, like and he kept going back out there. I think he was like cramping or something, or he had some sort of knee injury. But not enough sacks is pretty impressive. But he don't play for a big team, so he's probably not even in the question. This dude's
I really hope Washington gets the win against Oregon.
this
I
dude
don't
has
some
12
I don't like
touchdowns.
Bo Nix.
Yeah, if we're
Damn.
talking about Corum, like we might as well be talking about old Ray all day Davis. Man, that 300 yard rushing game, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing Corum has is he's on a better team. But I mean, really, Blake Corum's rushing yards aren't normally that good. Like he rushes just about under 100 or right about 100 every game,
Yeah,
and then he just punches one in the end zone at least once a game. I don't think he'll get invited, but he
he's not
could.
even leading the country in rushing yards. Like, where the fuck's he at?
He's not even close to it because he doesn't really rush that many yards. He's all touchdowns.
He's at
Yeah,
27.
27.
Yeah. What was old Trey Benson at? Did I skim over him?
I don't think he's really in the
Shit.
top right now. I
Somebody
think
got
that was his like first like real big rushing game of the season.
somebody gonna get a steal. Steal the draft.
If Notre Dame like kept it up, their running back, he could have maybe made a run at it because he's doing pretty good.
692, 7 touchdowns. Shit, I would take that over this 835. Why not? Touchdowns are just so valuable, like stat wise, like compared to yards. I think I feel like it would have to be like 100 yards to equal like a touchdown, like stat wise type thing. What do you think?
Yeah, that's probably right. I mean, unless you're, I don't know, like I feel
Unless you're like a
like
goal line like running back like type
you get
guy.
no yards at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got
then
no yards, but you got like 10 fucking touchdowns or something like that, which I mean is super valuable. And I think that could translate to the NFL really well. Like, but at that point, you're like, you might as well just be a fullback.
yeah, you're not really, and you're definitely not gonna be in the Heisman race if you're not at least putting up like a modest amount of yards.
Yeah.
Something decent. Corum, I mean, if they keep playing and he ends the season with like 25 touchdowns or something, he could be up there. He's kind of sitting on the outside of the Heisman race for me at the moment. Yeah,
And
returning.
nobody on special teams is going nuts. So it's a quarterback year again, unfortunately.
I was hoping to at least have like one running back or one receiver or
Yeah,
something.
the running backs just aren't going crazy. And man, I want to see like a kicker or something when the fucking or a punter, you know what I mean? Like that would be so cool. But for like that to happen, like you would have to be like it'd have to be the best punting year in history. You'd have to pin them in like within the 5 every time you're punting, like something like that.
They would never do that.
Or like a kicker, you'd have to be hitting from like 50 plus every week.
And
Like
your offense would have to be terrible. You have to be contributing all the points.
you would have to not miss a single kick. That's the only way. And you would have to, oh my God, the amount of field goals you'd have to kick. It's just, I don't think it's
Yeah.
feasible. a kicker. I think a kicker has won the MVP in the NFL before, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. And I think it was that dude that didn't have any fucking toes. You know
Oh
what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, yeah. I know exactly
I'm
what you're
pretty
talking
sure that
about.
dude's
He had
the
like the
only.
perfect foot to kick a field goal.
He's got a club. He's got a wooden club. He can kick with his toes because he ain't fucking got any.
Yeah, he had the perfect
You
foot
ever,
for that.
you ever try to kick a football and you kick it with your toes on accident? That shit hurts so bad.
I've like never like attempted a field goal in my life.
Speaking of field goals, have you seen that on College Game Day every week? They've been having like fans come out to try to kick field goals, and they keep giving them like they're gonna like give them money. I think this week it was like 45,000 or some shit. And
Yeah,
the dude barely missed. He like almost kissed the crossbar. It's
I've
pretty
been
cool.
seeing
I'm
them
just
doing
waiting.
that.
It's cool because it's really just kind of humbling a lot of people that because kickers get so much flack and everybody's like, oh, how'd you not make that kick? It's like 20 yards. Like I could have made that. Obviously, fucking not because everybody they bring in there is just whiffing it. Other than this dude the last week, he's got pretty close.
They do that at OU. Like every game, they do like it's like free something like Chick-fil-A or something
Yeah.
for a year, and they line them up from
Anybody?
the 5, and they like
Nobody
people
makes
made.
it.
No, somebody's made it, but like some
I feel like I could. I feel like I could maybe make because at the 5 it's like 15 yards or so because the end zone's 10 and then the uprights are like what a yard or so behind the end zone, maybe
I feel
two or
like it's kind
three.
of a bad angle, I guess, because you got to kick a
Yeah, you
little
got to
bit
kick
up.
it. I don't know.
I,
I feel like I could maybe not like I'd have to get a couple practice kicks, but maybe.
See,
Not saying I
I've
would.
never even like
I
attempted
haven't
one, so
either.
I would definitely miss one because I mean, like I've never tried it.
And I think all those people like they get too low, like or they get too over it, and it goes like straight, or they're like leaning too much back, and it like kind of they shank it. Like there's a lot of like it's like all a lot in your the way your body's positioned. It's hard to explain, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't. I was like, I was out, playing football today, and I was like, they had a goalpost. I was like, should I
You should have tried it.
try it? But I was like, I
You out
want
there with Carlos.
Silas, we're out there. I was like,
Should
you want
have
to
should have
play
held
some
have him hold the
football?
ball.
That I was like, man, I don't want to kick your finger though, man. I really don't.
Yeah, that shit hurts.
That's the same reason I was like, I don't want to try to let you kick it either because I don't want you kicking my finger.
That shit hurts so bad. All right, moving on. We already covered defensive team performance of the week. Coaches in the hot seat. Additions. Mario Cristobal from Miami. I don't even know why I took him off. I should have just left him on there. I think coming in the year, I had him on there.
I don't think he's red hot yet, but I mean, after that call right there,
I'd have fired his ass immediately.
he's not like if Miami, he's not getting fired this year. I really don't think he's getting fired this year. But
No.
next year he might be red hot starting next year, especially if they're rocky down the stretch, and especially with a call like that, you
Yep.
can't justify it. That's solely on the coach. I saw some Miami fan be like, "Well, what about the player that fumbled it?" I'm like, "Well, he shouldn't have been running the ball in the first place." Like,
He
you
should have never been put
can't
in
blame
that
him.
position. I mean, you can blame him, but like he should have never been in that position to begin with. I don't have anybody new. I've basically kept everybody on here because I think to some extent, like they are all on a hot seat of some sort. Like I know Ryan Day, he's still winning, but if he loses to Michigan, he might be done, which they're probably going to. Jimbo's still on there. They
See,
lost to
Jimbo,
Bama.
like the
They just can't afford to
improvement,
get rid of him, but like he's there. Like they would fire his ass right now if they could.
the improvement of A&M like makes you think Jimbo's safe, but you gotta consider the fact that this ain't like Jimbo's second year. This is like Jimbo's like 6th year there,
Yeah, it's been a while.
and they brought him in to like win championships. He's not getting close. If Texas A&M stumbles down the rest of the way,
Yeah.
like if they finish with like 5 losses, I don't see how they keep him. For me, like I keep saying this, like Dave Aranda is red hot. I can't see him not getting fired. They're losing games left and right.
They might be just waiting till the end of the year.
And then I actually
I'd probably take Mike Gundy off.
Yeah, he probably
I think
saved his
that
job with that.
yeah, 100%. It was a home game too. If they would have lost, like
Man, they were celebrating that game like they won the
did.
Super Bowl. He
Dude,
was
they almost like stormed the field. I think
he did a cake stand in the locker room. Like,
hey, I fuck with it. He's like a player's dude. I like him. He's a funny guy. And, he rocks the mullets. He's a relatable dude. But He just
I can't stand him because of all this SEC talk. He was just mad he didn't get invited.
yeah,
You wish
probably
you got invited.
hundred
I hate to
percent.
do this, but I had to. I'm not saying he's hot this year, but I think next year, Marcus Freeman, like,
Yeah,
because
we
Notre
had
Dame's
him.
another school where it's championship or
Your window's
you're out of
close.
here, and
Very very
he's getting
small.
a little warm right now, especially if they lose to USC, a rivalry game. Then you're just coming off, two recent losses. I could definitely see him getting pretty hot next year, but it's 12-team playoffs, so he should be good.
Yeah,
But his seat's getting a little warm, I think.
I'm keeping Brian Kelly on there. The dude squeaking out wins by the fucking hair on his scrotum. He's lucky he's got a quarterback. He's very lucky, or they would probably have no wins type year. Well, not no wins. They've had some cupcakes on their schedule, but like
Yeah, he's not having a great year, and I can't stand the way he
I
talks about
fucking
his players.
it's a weasel, bro. He's a weasel. He makes me like he's slimy. He's
Do you remember,
slimy.
like, was it last year? Or no, it was like the year before when he was on Notre Dame, where he's basically saying something about like executing the players. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I think he was quoting some old like coach, but he like butchered the hell out of it, and it just sounded bad. Um, it was just a weird comment he made.
Look at that hot seat.
I mean, he's having is he on the hot seat now? That's last year. People were asking that.
I don't know the Google to like find this thing he said. Brian
Oh, just
Kelly.
search like execute, and it'll be like the first thing that pops up. Don't play the video because we'll get a copyright, but you can find the quote.
Our entire team needs to be executed.
That's
No
what
way
he
he
said
said
after
that,
the
bro.
game. Yeah, that's what he
Where's
said after the
the
game. Um,
holy shit?
he said something
Todd
about like
McKay's
executing.
okay.
Uh,
Moments after team capped off, overtime win on the road over. Of course, it was incest. Awkward attempt at humor. She joked his team deserved to be executed for playing so poorly. Jesus Christ.
I'm in favor of execution. Maybe our entire team needs to be executed after tonight.
I found he should be saying that about his fucking defense, his entire defense. If he's on that type of fucking
Like,
statement
why would
train.
you like? I think the quote that the old coach said, they're like, "What did you think about the execution tonight?" And he was like, "Well, I'm in favor of it after tonight." And but like Brian Kelly tried to like he just butchered the joke because nobody asked him about execution. He just forced execution into the conversation for the sake of making the joke.
Oh, I love it.
That dude is so. And then he puts on that fake accent as soon as he gets to LSU. All of a sudden, he's got a Southern
Yeah,
accent.
he's from Louisiana all of a sudden. Isn't he from Louisiana though?
I don't know where Brian Kelly's from. We might need to find that out because he pops up with a Louisiana accent out of nowhere.
Sounded like Ed Orgeron out there.
That pulled up the autofilled
Let's
for
just pull up
you.
his Wikipedia. But a roast Brian Kelly. Look at this fucking.
He's from Massachusetts.
uh, where?
When you
Yeah,
look
born
at
in Massachusetts. Maybe he.
Grand Valley State in 1987, I don't know where that
What
is.
the
Maybe
fuck
that's
is
in the South.
Assumption? What is that?
Assumption's close. Greyhound.
Oh, okay. So he played in He played in New England. He's from New England. I'm just trying to see if he like spent a lot of time maybe in
Where's
Louisiana.
Grand Valley State? Where is Grand Valley State located? Maybe that's where it comes from.
Competes in the Great Lakes. That's
Great Lakes is in the
up by
Midwest.
like
Yeah.
Michigan or so. What is it? What is GA?
Graduate assistant.
Graduate assistant defensive back coach. I mean, it doesn't look like he spent a lot of time in Louisiana for him to just develop this accent somehow. Like, okay, Central Michigan. He spent all his time out north somehow. Ohio.
And he didn't have that accent at Notre Dame. Like it just
Uh,
popped up as soon as he pulls up to LSU. Howdy, y'all. Like I don't think he said it like that, but he put on a little accent.
Cincinnati. Still in Cincinnati. Then he went to so he was at Cincinnati and went to Notre Dame. That okay. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I guess maybe he's just trying to fit in or something.
No, that's what he was trying to do, and it's just why like
I think they should have just kept Ed Orgeron. I don't know why they. I mean, I get like he's got a lot of like off the field craziness, but like the dude took you to fucking championship. I mean, granted, you had Joe Burrow and maybe one of the best teams of college football history, like offense wise, and their defense was really good too. But uh, I mean, he got them Joe Burrow. Like if they didn't have Ed Orgeron, like they're not getting Joe Burrow. Like he's the reason they got him. So I don't know why I'd have just kept him. Fuck it.
well, I mean, this is the thing with Brian Kelly at Notre Dame for so long, he just wasn't playing that tough of schedules. And now he's starting to get exposed because you got to play pretty good teams every single week.
I just
And
I just don't understand the defensive issues. Like you're an SEC team, you get good recruits. Like there's good defensive players that you recruit. I don't know what the fuck they got going on. It's a big deal. Coach of the year rankings. You're gonna need. We can take Marcus Freeman out. Um,
yeah, I
I think I think
honestly,
I think Dion's still sitting up there. I still got James Franklin. We could probably take Michael Loxley from Notre or Maryland out. Steve Sarkeesian's out. I think Venables probably moves in,
I think Venable is probably like number two right now after Dion, after
especially if
6 and 7 last year to
especially as a
this.
defensive coach too. Like that's pretty impressive.
Like if
So
OU goes undefeated, they'll probably give it to Venables. I mean maybe they give it to Dion if Dion's like eight and
yeah,
five or like 9-3 or
let's
something like that. But oh well, I mean Louisville, yeah.
yeah,
Brom's
Louisville's coach.
another good candidate.
All right, so we're looking at Venables, James Franklin, Washington's coach potentially if they make it all the way. Um, shit, I can see Saban win it if he brings the team back.
See,
Uh,
I don't think they'll give it to Saban. I think it's
no.
kind of like a like in the NBA, there's a really long period where like LeBron probably could have just won it every year, but they give it to
Yeah.
somebody else just to mix it up. That's kind of what it is. Saban could
Um,
win it every year.
oh fucking what the fuck's his name? Mac Brown from North Carolina. He could be in the running if he wins out.
He's a he's a great coach. I love Mac
I
Brown.
like Mac Brown. I don't know Louisville's coach. What?
Brom, Jeff Brom, I believe is his name. He's a
Yeah,
fantastic
Jeff Brom.
coach.
Yeah, he's definitely in the running for sure. He might. I wouldn't put him above Dion. It's just hard to put somebody above him with like the amount of attention and hype that they're getting.
Well, I mean, and they're 1-11 last year. Like if they
Yeah,
finish with honestly, if they finish with more than 7 wins, I don't see how you don't give it to Dion after a 1-11 year.
I think those are kind of really like might be it right now. I don't see anybody unless maybe like Wyoming wins out or like Air Force wins out, like maybe, but they're just not really high profile programs. So
So how do you like how much do you root for Air Force? Like, because that's like close. That's
um
like your basically your alma mater
I
essentially.
mean, yeah, kind of, I guess.
Like
It's
close as you could get to it.
I'm way closer to big on Air Force's program than Florida State, I guess. So I mean, I don't really keep up with them at all. If I see the game on, I'll try to watch it, and I definitely try to watch when we play like the other military schools.
Yeah,
But let's check. We'll check them out.
Air Force is having a great year, and
Yeah, they're I
if they
think
beat Wyoming on Saturday, they're gonna be probably ranked 20 or so.
blew out or I almost had Oral Roberts. That's Robert Morris. Barely beat Sam Houston, Utah State, San Jose. San Jose's pretty solid. These are big schools for Air Force to beat. I mean, I think in the same conference.
Yeah, they're all in the Mountain West.
Yeah, those are still like pretty big schools for that conference. If they beat Wyoming, like that's a huge win.
Then going to Navy the next week, that's gonna be a huge
Yeah,
game.
Navy's not as good this year. Like, you remember when Navy had that one quarterback? He was like, in the Heisman running for a while, and then I think he was like looking at getting drafted. It was a good handful of years ago. I can't remember
Yeah,
his
out of
name.
all the military schools, normally Navy's kind of the better of the three.
I think
Um,
I'm feeling Colorado State and Army are like their biggest games left. I mean, other than Wyoming, but if they could win out, I don't see why not.
See, I don't does Air Force like have different rules for their team than like Navy and Army do? Because they're in a like Navy and Army are independent, and Air Force is in a conference, and they're
I'm not.
looking a lot better. Like, because I know like the reason Navy and Army like basically can't be good is because they have a weight limit.
Yeah, I'm
And
assuming we have the Air Force has the same thing because there's like nobody over what 235 is like the highest I've seen. That's a running back. Like,
what's the O line looking like?
but he's 6 foot 2 7. Oh, okay. So I
Three
mean,
hundred pound.
they
They
might
might
have
not have a weight limit then.
they might have adjusted it or something because they just can't compete because of that. Their O lines are just abysmally small. You can't stop a almost 300-pound defensive lineman. Like, dude, he's like 100 pounds on you. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like the military teams should just like make an exception for the
if you're on
teams.
the team, you get like a maybe like a weight exemption because like the way our fitness test works, like they just changed it actually. So it's like a I haven't gotten one in a while. They just changed it not too long ago. It's like so we have a waist test like or we used to then they took it away and then they just brought it back. So like they weigh you and they take your height and your weight into consideration, and it's like a weird like scale of like low, moderate, high risk, and typically like the bigger dudes like because like if you're like 6 foot you're usually like a bigger guy. You could be like the most jacked dude in the world, and you could fail your fucking PT test because of your waist. Like you get like 20 points for your waist if you
Damn.
can max it out. Like I mean, obviously I get all the points because I have a smaller waist, but it's just like a really you're at a disadvantage because you're so big. Like, but you could have like no body fat and still fail your fucking PT test because of your waist. Like, it's just ridiculous. But like, so you'll have your waist, they do the height, they do the weight, you got to run, push up, sit ups type thing, and it's just all points. And the minimum's like 75 or something like that, 70. It's been I don't even fucking know. It's been like a
What
year
happens
since
if you like fail your fitness test?
I've never actually never failed one. It's oh my god. I've been away from work. I've been away from the Air Force so long. I can't even think of like anything. It's so weird. Like it's been months since I've been to work because I had my kid. It's like I don't even remember anything. So like normally if you fail one, you get paperwork and then you have to retake it, I think within like 30 or 45 days. And then you if you fail, I think four within like a year or back to back to back to back, like you get kicked out type thing. But you
Damn.
could fail like three and pass one and it like resets.
Oh,
It's
okay.
very weird.
So you're doing a Rocky
I mean,
montage, bringing the next.
you can fail and be fine, but like you're getting paperwork type thing. Like it's like an LOR, like it's like a so like you have LOC, which is like your basic like paperwork. It's kind of like it's almost like a warning, really. It's not a huge deal. And the next steps up like it's called an LOR, letter of reprimand. And like I think when you fail a PT test, it usually comes from like an officer type, like your flight commander or something like that. And then like you get hit with that, and I mean it doesn't look good. It's really not good, but I mean you can come back from it. It's just I don't know. You don't want to fail a PT test.
Yeah,
it's not fun because then you
but
gotta like you get in your blues and you get your ass chewed out by somebody usually, and then they put you in some weird fitness program where you're going to like PT 5 days a week type shit.
uh,
It's just not fun.
they should definitely. Like, I think they should make an exception for the guys on the military teams.
They could have. Let's check out Army's roster. Maybe they're different.
See, I feel like Army's always got some small guys. Like as
It
far as
looks
their O
like it. It
line,
always does.
O line. I mean,
Pushing
they're
300,
getting up
so
300. Maybe like all of them made exceptions because like I feel
I
like last year this was a bigger issue.
and I mean, you got to think like they can't recruit. You get the picking of like the people at the academy. Like you can't just be like, oh, we're gonna go recruit this 5-star quarterback down the road. Like it just
Because you got to sell them not only on playing football there, you got to
you gotta
sell
join
them
the fucking
on the army or the military.
but you have to be able to make it to the academy. It's not just like anybody can just like. It's not like I could just go play for Air Force. Like you have to be an officer. Like you have to, it's like an officer academy. It's only officers. Like that's it. That entire team is like people trying to become like officers. I guess they're like I think they're called like recruits or some shit. The fuck are they called? I don't know. But they're not like fully like officers yet. But they're like in school to like do it. It's like a college, but it's a military college, so they still have all these standards and whatnot.
Yeah, what's cool is like I know if like guys make it to the NFL, they usually just let them go.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they like wait. You can waive it and you can go.
which I mean, you don't really see a lot of those
It
guys go to the
doesn't happen
NFL,
very
but like
often.
if they do, yeah, they're usually like, all right, yeah, go ahead and go. Yeah, actually, Joe by Air Force's stadium in Colorado Springs. I was like,
Not
oh,
really.
I didn't know they were here. And I was like, that's the Air Force football stadium. Like that's crazy.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, it was decent size, and I mean, it's like surrounded by like mountains, kind of. So I'm like, that's a cool little view for your stadium.
What the fuck's that base called? I can't remember. I can't go there, but it's like my job. I think my job's contracted there, or they just don't have it at all. Oh shit, we got a football game going on. Uh
It's a close one too.
oh. Shit, I guess we'll just leave this up while we're talking. 52 seconds left. I think. Oh yeah, Colorado or they're about to score. Hey, App State. Oh, oh wait, no, they're on there. Yeah, they just got sacked, right? No, you got tackled in the backfield. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know they played games on Tuesdays. I mean, I knew we were getting Thursday and Friday games a lot, but I didn't realize we're doing
I,
all week long type
I
deals
think
now.
I think at this point of the year we have a college football or a football of some sort every day for like the next like 40 some days. Like there's a game some sort of football game every day
Oh
until like
yeah,
November or something like that.
that's good
In
because I mean
November.
that'll give me a chance to watch some of the smaller schools. Um,
Yeah.
because I normally I don't really watch them on like Saturdays because I'm watching all the big games.
I
But
man, I am such like a disadvantage this year because like I can maybe only watch like one game and I don't even get to watch the full game. I'm so like all over the place with like the kids and stuff. It's just so hard.
yeah, this past weekend was the first weekend where I was just able to watch like football. I watched football from 11 a.m. when OU started to like 2 o'clock when USC
Yeah.
ended. All I was doing all day Saturday was watching football. It was the first one where I didn't have to work. First one where I
This
just didn't
game's
have stuff
going to
going on.
OT.
Damn, that's
Hey,
a
let's go.
that's
We'll
interesting.
go to the bathroom real quick.
All right, I'll entertain the crowd a little bit. Yeah, I mean this App State Coastal Carolina. I didn't even know that was going on today. Looks like it turned out to be a pretty good game. App State, they played North Carolina really well earlier on in the year. We just pulled up Coastal Carolina against UCLA earlier, so two pretty good schools for schools of their size. We'll see who comes out on top in that, and then once Jaden comes back, we'll get into predictions for next week and see what's going on there. Kind of make our picks, see who we should pick or who's going to win what game. But yeah, really good game going on in App State right now. App State 24, Coastal Carolina 24. Looks like it's going to OT. I feel like App State should probably win. I mean, it's looks like it's at App State. App State, in my opinion, is a little bit better of a team. And they're a little bit more seasoned, so we'll just see how that one turns out. Yeah, we'll get into predictions. There's a lot of good games coming up this weekend. We got a pretty good weekend in store for us. Obviously, the big highlight of this upcoming weekend is going to be Oregon versus Washington. So yeah, lot of good upcoming games coming this next weekend.
Let me check the schedule.
See
Keep
what
that
we
open.
got.
What's this go? Why are they like projected to win by like almost 100%?
Because
Oh,
they just kicked a field goal. Yeah,
I thought they were going this way. Okay, you know what, that the
yeah,
game's
they
over.
won. That's a game winner field goal right
Okay. I
there.
mean they could run the kickoff back.
I mean, crazier things have happened. It's college football. You never
It
know what's
is
gonna happen.
Appalachian State.
Appalachian State's got magic. They
That's
got a
that's
really
a
nice stadium. Like when you watch them, like
oh
at their
no,
stadium,
okay.
it's huge.
Game's over.
Dang.
Unfortunate.
Well, I mean, at least we're getting game. Yeah, tomorrow looks like we got a.
Hey,
Or is that
Liberty's fine.
tonight? Or is that tonight? Yeah, Liberty is
Oh, that
Liberty.
already happened.
Okay, yeah, Liberty
Liberty
played tonight.
won.
So Liberty went to 7-0 now.
Middle Tennessee won.
Yeah. I'd imagine, Shelton's probably having a pretty good year. Duke and Liberty are both doing good.
I was actually talking to him like when the Duke lost to Notre Dame. He didn't ever text me back. I don't know if he just like deleted his like messenger or whatever, but I was like, so I was talking to him and we was talking about Duke, and then I was like asking him, I was like, you got any like good picks this week? Because I was like looking at a back, and because he follows like smaller schools like Liberty and whatnot, and I was like, well, you got any like weird picks that I might just be overlooking? And then I was like, I think there might only be like one upset, and then I was just like, Duke, because and then they lost, and he just never messaged me back. But he hasn't been active on Messenger like since then. So like
He
I don't
might
know if
have
he
just
just
like deleted his stuff or just taken a break from social media or
yeah.
something. I've done that a few times. He was a good guest. We should probably
Yeah,
bring him back at some point this season.
I'm down for it. Oh yeah. UTEP looks good this year. I like a sneaky team.
I might watch that Sam Houston game because Sam Houston's actually like a pretty good small school from what I've been seeing. They've been playing these really close games against these smaller schools.
Damn.
Uh, Jacksonville State. I mean, they took Air Force pretty close. I mean, obviously, yeah, they got whooped by Houston and BYU, but those are bigger
Yeah.
schools.
Why is Taylor Swift on here? Like
Oh my god, you
I'm
can't
sick of
escape
I'm
her.
sick, just
I
inevitable.
will say this about Taylor Swift. She makes great music. I've liked her last like 2 or 3 albums. They've been
I,
really good. But I mean, Jesus Christ, man!
that's
Like
all you hear about every weekend
you
in the
hear more
NFL.
about her than like what the Chiefs are doing on the field. Like
Yeah, the Chiefs look bad. The Chiefs look really bad.
they play Thursday.
That
Um, I don't know who they're
they
playing,
play
but
fuck. Who do they play? Raiders, maybe? I don't know. It doesn't matter. We maybe touch on the NFL afterwards. I ain't got shit else to do. It's still kind of early.
we got looks like West Virginia at Houston. That could
It
be a
could
good
be
game
interesting.
on Thursday. SMU at East Carolina. I'm more interested in the West Virginia game.
Tulane at Memphis and then Stanford at Colorado on Friday. What, at
Ooh.
9 o'clock, bro? It's so
Oh
late.
my. Why? It's Friday. Like, what do you have? Like, why can't it be at like 6 on Friday? Because you
It's
don't want it
annoying.
to interrupt like Memphis, Tulane. Are you guys serious right now? We got to stay up till 3 in the morning to watch Colorado. I'm watching half. Hopefully, Colorado's just beating them at halftime, and it's just
I don't even
over.
know if I'll watch any of that. It's kind of late.
I'll
I'll
be
probably
I'll
watch a
be
little
up
bit.
and I'll be watching. I know I will. Georgia Vanderbilt blowout,
Blowout, blowout,
blowout,
blowout,
blowout,
blowout,
blowout.
blowout.
I think Arkansas
I
covers
think
though.
I think Rutgers wins. I'm
Um,
going Cincinnati here.
yeah, I'm going Cincinnati. I don't know nothing
I
about
don't know
North.
anything about
Yeah,
going
James
James
Madison.
Madison. I might put a parlay and I would keep James Madison. I'll watch they get beat, and that's gonna be what ruins my parlay, of course.
Uh,
Um,
Kent State at Eastern Michigan. I don't know nothing about either of those.
Utah blows Cal out, I think. Penn State
Yeah,
probably hangs 60 on Mass.
I think Oregon and Washington is just going
I'm
to be a
I'm I'm
shootout, but I think
so
I got the
happy
edge
this
on
is it's
Oregon.
at 2:30 too, which is so nice. This game day, so it has to be early. Tennessee, Texas A&M's interesting. It could be good. I want to lean Tennessee's way, but I'm so uncomfortable with both of these teams. Like I completely avoided this, and like when I was making my when I was making my parlay pick for the weekend, I was like, "Fuck, dude, I'm not confident in like 3 quarters of these games."
See, I had that game on mine, which is a big risk. I'm about to
Which
pull
way
my.
did you go?
I went Tennessee.
I only went like I kept it kind of small. I'm
I'm
just
on a
not
set. I'm
confident.
doing 7.
Yo, I hopped over to FanDuel because you can do if you like if it's your first time on there, you get like $200 in bonus bets if you just have to put 10 in and you have to bet 5. Like you put it on whatever you want as long as you put 10 in. Like if you've never made it, you have to make an account, you link your whatever the fuck you're gonna use to pay, put just $10 in. You have to bet 5 of it and you get $200 in bonus bets.
They
And
give it
it's
to you
like,
already?
yeah, I have like 185 left. And you don't
They
have to use
didn't give me that. I've been using FanDuel for the past like I got screwed out of the DraftKings. Like I was supposed to get 200. You're supposed to get like 100 or something like
Yeah,
that. I
I
didn't
don't know if
get
like the link
that.
didn't work, but like so you have to like go to the like I was on Reddit and I seen it. I clicked on it. It took me to like I downloaded the app because I'd never used it. Made the account, and you have to like go to the promos and there's like check marks of like all the steps you have to do. I'd maybe go look and see if maybe you still have it in there. I don't know. It might be a certain time, but let's see what I went with. I got a 13th leg parlay for NFL that's never gonna hit because I'm fucking ungodly lucky with NFL. But I went Colorado over Stanford. I feel like that's a gimme.
I got
I went,
that one in mind. Yeah.
I went Kansas over Oklahoma State, but which because I thought Daniels was gonna play, but now I don't think he's going to. So that one might be a toss up. That's probably gonna ruin me.
I took that one.
Uh,
Yeah, I don't have that one in there.
I went Washington over Oregon, Louisville
I
over
skipped
Pitt,
that game.
North Carolina over Miami,
Got that one in there.
and USC over Notre Dame. And I put 5 in of with the bonus bet money. It's not my money, and then pay out 70. So it's nothing too crazy. But I might do another one where I try to pick every game correct, and probably miss half of them. But
Yeah, I went Missouri over Kentucky. I went North Carolina over Miami. Then I went West Virginia over Houston, Colorado over Stanford. I got Arkansas covering 19.5 against Alabama.
that's actually not
Um,
bad.
Actually, you know what? I went A&M over Tennessee. It looks like, and then I went Wyoming over Air Force.
Ooh,
10
that one that
fifty
one's just
AC 1200.
that one's a wit. How much?
1200.
Well, you put 5 or 10 in.
10 in. Um, so I took Wyoming and Air Force out to see what the difference is, and it
Yeah.
drops it down to like 100 something. So that
Damn.
like the whole parlay is basically riding on that game.
That's crazy. I'll probably do another one because, like I said, I got fucking $185 of free money just to, but I don't want to blow it all. I'll probably just do like $5 parlays until I lose all of it, which is likely. I can't catch a fucking break. It's literally this past week this yesterday I bet on I did a little 3 leg parlay for the Packers Raiders game. I did Packers money line for them to win. I did Jordan Love over like 230 passing yards, and Romeo Dobbs was supposed to catch like 4.5 passes. And I was like, that seems like fucking super reasonable. Nope. Goddamn, Max Crosby is like, okay, let me show up and ruin your game. And he fucking did single-handedly ruin the entire Packers offense. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, I know he's good, but god damn.
I'm so sick of doing the same game because
I
like
lose every time
the
on some
Thursday
dumb
last
shit.
week, like I had like a pretty close one, but then the Commanders just played terrible, and then I needed a Mooney on the Bears to catch like 25 yards or something, and he didn't
Yeah,
get like a single catch, I don't think. And DJ Moore, of course, got like 3 touchdowns. So I was like,
bro.
why didn't I just put that in there?
I have DJ Moore on my fantasy team, and I was on my bench. Man has a 50. I lost because of it.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's depressing. And I had Justin Fields on my bench too when the first game he dropped 50. I dropped him. I dropped him that game. And I was like, yeah, this is how it's going my years. My fantasy team, my 2 teams, dog shit, betting, dog shit. I got 2 parlays for NFL. I got a 6-legger paying out 113, and then I got a 13-leg paying out 800 if it hits. But I was so convinced this past weekend my NFL picks were just locks. And the goddamn Ravens and the goddamn Texans fucked it. Like how, bro? The Texans are hot. Lose to the Falcons. The Ravens lose to the Steelers because they're going for it on fucking 4th down all the time. Like Lamar's a bum, bro. I'm sick of him.
Did you see that guy that hit like 100K on a
I
four
think
leg?
so.
Because he bet like first score for 4 different
Yeah,
teams,
I
and
did.
he got it on a $10 bet. I was like, oh my god, like
Yeah, seeing that shit, I'm like, why didn't I think of that? And then I'm like, oh, would have thought of
why
that
would
because
I do that? Yeah.
actually, I made I found one on Reddit. It was like a 6 game or six player scoring touchdowns. I hit like half of it. It was annoying. James Cook from the Bills was on there, and they got beat the fuck down. And I was like, come on, man.
I've been saying this like if I don't hit on a parlay this week, I'm done. I'm done. But I've been saying that past couple weeks, like,
Yeah.
but I'm like I'm getting closer and closer to being
At,
done like every week.
at least you're only betting on the weekends, like on like college or maybe NFL. I'm betting like through the week, like on dumb shit like fucking Korean basketball or something.
No, I've been getting so greedy lately. Like last night, I went to the casino and I won like 250, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put it in a $25 machine and see what happens.
Uh,
Walked out with nothing.
and I mean, like, in the same hand, like you gotta bet big to win big type thing.
That's
So
what
I
I'm
can,
saying. Like, what if I walk out with?
because if you hit on like anything, like you got a bonus bet or anything on that, like you would have probably doubled your money.
Yeah, if it red spun like that was like probably 1,000 some dollars
Yeah.
at least. So
Weird off topic, but we'll hop back in here to the
hopefully
schedule.
YouTube doesn't flag us for that. They did that once last year.
Yeah. So what? Kansas, Oklahoma State, I think will be interesting, but it's the same slot as Oregon, Washington, and A&M, Tennessee. So it's like there's so many games at 2:30. Is there anything else?
Uh,
Nah, not really. So
Nothing.
we got like three good games to kind of flip between at 2:30, which is nice.
I'll probably mostly stick with Washington, Oregon, but I might check in on A&M, Tennessee, and then Kansas, Oklahoma State. I'm kind of curious to see how good Kansas really is. It
I
looks like
I
Daniel's gonna be playing.
I want to watch this Arizona Washington State game. This Auburn LSU game could be interesting, like with LSU's defense. I don't know. Could be something to keep an eye on. I would like to bet LSU, but Jesus, they I don't know. We got USC Notre Dame prime time. Miami North Carolina prime time. See Miami get blown out. Missouri Kentucky be interesting. UCLA Oregon State.
That
And it,
6-7 o'clock like time period actually got a lot of pretty good games
yeah,
going
it's
for
a
it.
solid weekend. I think we definitely could have some upsets. Like I mean, North Carolina could get upset. I mean, USC could get upset. Uh, Duke easily could get upset. LSU could get upset. Washington State, Louisville coming off a big win on the road at Pitt. Pitt's not a fun place to go play. Uh, I mean, Tennessee could get upset if you consider that.
I think a
I,
really good game with no stakes is that Texas Tech K State game. I think that looks like a
yeah,
pretty entertaining game.
I think the biggest potential upset would maybe be Arkansas at Alabama, but it's
I don't see that happening.
no
I
chance.
bet you we leave this weekend with at least one upset though.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
on
which one it's gonna be, but
it's
it's gonna
on
be one
par.
of them.
Every week's had at least one, I think. Well, this past weekend there was a lot. It's a lot of big games.
This weekend's like honestly, this is like a really good follow up weekend to a good weekend because this weekend looks like it could be just as good as last weekend.
I really just want to look ahead to the week after. I
Like,
just want to.
I am kind of curious what's going on the week after. Nothing really good on the weekday games. It looks like.
It's still week, dig it. Penn State, Ohio State.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that's gonna
God.
be a game. Oh, Duke, Florida State at the same time.
Utah, USC, Tennessee, Bama.
Michigan State. I know Michigan State is terrible, but that is a rivalry game. Don't count it out.
Crazier things have happened. Washington State, Oregon, Oklahoma State, West Virginia will be interesting.
That'll be actually a really good game. South Carolina, Missouri could be interesting. It looks like the kind of the rest of the way after the 2:30 slot, it starts getting a little
Yeah, it's all early. All the meat, all these times are to be determined. Like
Oh yeah, these are all
because
TBD.
game
Yeah,
game day, I'm assuming is gonna be here, so this would be probably slide into the 2:30 slot
yeah, it'll be
or
2:30,
11,
maybe prime time. It could
maybe
be.
11.
Well, sometimes the game day game doesn't like take place right after the show. Sometimes it is a 6 o'clock game.
Yeah,
Um,
so yeah,
I
we
bet
got
you that
like
one's prime time.
that's at least three good games over that weekend. That's a really good weekend.
Yeah, I bet they stick Duke, Florida State probably at like 2:30. Like
I could see us playing at night too. Are we home? Yeah, if we're playing at night, boy, Duke's in trouble.
now I'm kind of happy that the UCF Oklahoma game's at 11. Like initially I was like, oh, I don't want to do these 11 a.m. games, so I got to get up early. But like the 6 o'clock games, you get back so late because it takes so long to leave the stadium.
It takes like an hour to get the fuck out of there at
Yeah,
least.
just to
So
get out
that's
of Norman, and then you get home. It's probably like 1. So I'm like at 11. I'm like get home at 6, 5,
yeah.
like a good little time. Still catch the rest of the games, probably the rest of the day. I'm not gonna probably be able to watch Penn State Ohio State unless it's like in the evening.
I don't think it's gonna be. But I mean that's like a I feel like Penn State plays really well at night, and like their stadium is like a night stadium.
Wait,
So
was that at Penn State or was that at Ohio
it's
State?
at Penn State, pretty sure.
If that's at Penn State, that's probably a night game. I bet. Let's
Oh
see.
no, it's at Ohio State.
Uh,
What am I thinking? I think in Maybe
Michigan's
I'm thinking
at
Michigan
Penn
at Penn
State.
State.
Yeah, Michigan is
I
at
keep
Penn
getting that shit
State.
mixed up.
That game, oh my god, I can't wait for that one.
I'm I'm really hoping Penn State's undefeated in that game. I
That
like
might
Penn
be the
State
game
this
of the
year.
year, honestly. Like just the hype of that Penn State crowd with this Michigan team that is really really good,
I
but they
mean,
really haven't been tested yet.
as long as it's not a blowout, it could be game of the year. But I mean, at this point, it's OU Texas is game of the year, and I think that Colorado State, like
That was
for
a
me
great
that
game.
like that game was that felt like a movie, bro. Like like it
No,
felt like
like
a
the
Friday Night Lights movie. Like that's exactly how I felt while I was watching that game. It was like it was crazy.
that game had the intensity of a Super Bowl
It was
because like you had so many celebrities in the crowd,
it
and
was
then
a
it was prime it was prime time, but it was a late
it's an
game. Just
in-state rivalry.
the
Like
crowd was going crazy.
they were getting beat, they come back. It was wild. I
No,
loved
I mean
it.
that might be one of the better games this year.
For me, that's my favorite game so far.
Obviously, OU Texas is mine, but
I think that's the better game, like game played and stakes. But my favorite game is like Colorado State game. I don't.
the only thing about the
That's
OU Texas is like there's gonna be a rematch. Like that's what kind of
looking
kind
like
of
it.
takes away from them just a little bit.
Yeah. Where is the Big 12 championship at?
Dallas. So it's like right by where we played, but in the Cowboy Stadium instead of the Cotton Bowl.
Trash.
Yeah, Dallas Cowboy Stadium.
And whatever. That shit's gonna sell out.
Man, those Cowboys.
Jesus Christ. Hey, we touch on that. Oh my God. They
That was
got
a bad
embarrassed.
game. I sent you that thing my teacher sent where like I'll give you guys like 2 extra points on the test if Dallas wins, and I was like, damn well Dallas isn't gonna win. You're like, what is wrong with you?
This just got embarrassed. Like I was watching the game and like the players on the defense just kept getting hurt. I was like, oh my God. And I'm kind of mad because I have Dallas on my fantasy team, their defense, and I'm just like, they just keep getting hurt, pissing me off.
Dallas, I mean, at this point, I'm like, are you guys gonna keep Dak? Like, I don't
I
know.
don't. I think they draft a quarterback,
Probably their better bet at this point.
but I mean, they got Trey Lance sitting there that they traded for. So like, you draft a quarterback, now you got four. So like, you gotta let Cooper Rush go, you gotta let Dak go, or you gotta give Trey Lance a shot. Like it's a weird spot to be in, and they can't let that go. They owe him so much fucking money.
Yeah, they gotta trade him, which
Then you're gonna have to
I'll take
take
him. I'll take him. I'll take him.
somebody's got to pick up that contract.
I'll
I
take
don't
him.
fucking want him. I mean, he'd be better than Daniel Jones, but Jesus Christ, our O line is. We have the Colorado offensive line. That boy Daniel Jones is getting massacred.
I'm so done with NFL this year. I'm so tired of NFL.
Me too. I'm just ready for the 49ers. Just go and win it all. It's them or the Dolphins. But I'd be
You,
cool with either of them.
you know what? I don't even like the 49ers. I'm gonna be honest with you. Because I've never seen a team get this much praise without winning a Super Bowl.
That team
Like
is absolutely stacked. It's insane.
the
It's like they
Cowboys
were,
have won the more recent Super Bowl than the 49ers. You don't see the 49ers getting any. I mean, I guess they've
yeah,
been
but
to a
the
couple.
49ers have been to a Super Bowl and make the playoffs almost every year. Cowboys have made the playoffs once and recently
No, they
a
make the
few
playoffs
times
almost every year. They just they
because
haven't won it. They haven't won a playoff game.
they keep losing the fucking 49ers.
I
That's
can't even remember
right.
the last time they. I think maybe they won a wild card game with Dak a few years ago, but they haven't made it out of the divisional round since like, yeah, the last time they went to the Super Bowl. They haven't been to a conference championship since like '96.
Really, it ain't happening this year. I just it's looking like it's the Dolphins or the 49ers. That the Dolphins offense is nuts.
Honestly,
Absolutely
I,
nuts.
I think honestly, I think the Chiefs win again.
No way, though. They just
They do this every year where like the first part of the season, you're like the Chiefs, man, they're terrible.
they're
And
bad.
then
Yeah.
they pull out. It frustrates me because like there's like
It's fucking
that's the one team I don't want to win.
It's Patrick Mahomes, man. The dude's goated. He's insane.
I hate
He's
that team.
he might go down like at the end when they all it's all said and done. He could be the best quarterback of all time. Like I mean, he's gonna have to was he need 4 more rings to tie Brady? He's got 6.
Brady has 7, so I mean
Seven?
he's got to win 5 more rings.
I mean, it's doable. He's stupid young. But they gotta start looking for a Kelsey replacement. Like Kelsey looks bad this year, man. I think the Swift thing's fucking him up. He just looks slower. He looks like I don't know. There's just something off. And now he's hurt.
This Swift thing is so weird. It's like when Jessica Simpson was going to the Cowboys games back when they had Romo. It's like the same thing, except the Chiefs win when she's there.
I
It's like
would
the
be mad.
opposite.
I would be mad if I was like Andy Reid and like Mahomes, like because that shit's such a big distraction, and it's like it seems like it's affecting them, but they're
They're
squeaking
winning
out. They're
still though.
squeaking out wins.
Yeah, I think the Eagles are a really quiet
I
team,
fucking hate
undefeated
the Eagles,
still.
bro. God
Jalen
damn
Hurts,
it.
man, I love Jalen Hurts so much. I think he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
He,
Like
he pisses me off. Throw Devontae Smith the ball, bro. Come on. You have like one of the best college receivers of all time, and you're not throwing it. He had 1 reception this past week. I'm partial because I have him on my fantasy team, but god damn it, bro. Come on.
Jalen Hurts has been doing it all on the ground this year. He's been running it a lot.
I didn't think he was going to because he did that last year, and they was like it seemed like they was trying to get away from him running the ball a lot.
They've won every single game so far. So I mean,
It's annoying.
that's the team I know as people are sleeping on.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, they did take the 49ers out last year. The 49ers are going to be tough to take out in the playoffs, but
I just don't see how they lose like that. The defense is nasty. Purdy's playing like an animal. They got the best running back in the league. They got 2 badass receivers. They have, one of the best tight ends in the league. They got a good old line. There's just not really any like flaws in the team, like at all.
the
But then
NFL is really top heavy this year. I've noticed too. Like there's like the top teams and then everybody else. Like you got like
everybody's fighting
Eagles.
for a top draft pick, it seems.
Yeah, you got the 49ers, Eagles,
Bills.
Dolphins, yeah, Bills, you got the Chiefs. And then like I'm like after that, like who do you really like who's really competing like for a Super Bowl
Uh,
besides those teams?
I feel like the Jags are like a sneaky pick,
Yeah, they're a little nice.
but they're just I don't know. Trevor Lawrence ain't playing that great this year.
Man, the Bengals have been such a disappointment this year.
They, oh my god, that I don't know how they keep whiffing on O linemen. It's the same spot we're in the Giants. Like we draft offensive linemen every year and we just can't hit. It's actually egregious. It's fucking terrible. And we're gonna do it again. We're gonna draft a fucking offensive lineman again because we're gonna have a top 5 pick, and we're gonna draft a left tackle, and he's gonna be a bum because we can't draft a quarterback. There's no point.
Yeah, I mean it's
There's
not
no
gonna
point.
that's not the
It,
problem.
like as Daniel Jones, he's okay. He's okay. Like he plays hard. He's got heart.
He reminds
And
me of Josh Allen a lot. Like he's got the
he
same skill
does.
set.
We have nobody to throw the ball to, and we have no line, so and we have no defense. We have nothing. We have nothing. We have not a single thing on that team other than Saquon, who we don't even need. We just please trade him, get something for him, please.
I'm at my breaking point with the Patriots at this point. Like I've
Oh
never
man,
I've never been like at this point as a fan of the Patriots where I'm just like, what are we doing? Like get rid of Mac Jones. Like I want us to just cut him.
he's been benched in the fourth quarter 2 weeks in a row. Like obviously he's not doing it, so stop fucking starting him. Just put Bailey Zappin or Zappy, whatever the fuck his name is, and just ride the season out and get a fucking good pick.
And they keep like the media and they got a point to a certain extent, but it's just like Mac Jones, there's nothing around him. I'm like, but he sucks too, though. Like so, I feel like the guys around him don't want to play for him because
I
he
think
just
they're just hanging on that first year he had because he had a really good first year.
McDaniels is the coordinator though. I think that's
That
the
that
big.
I think that's the only thing that's keeping him like afloat. They're hanging on to that because they've seen him. They've seen him perform and like I mean he was able to have a good year and now he's not. So
I'd
I'm
rather us ride with
just
Bailey
trade him.
Zappi. I would just ride with Bailey Zappi. If we lose, fine. We draft a quarterback. If we win, great. Then he's our guy. But
Facts.
I want
Yeah,
Shador. I want Shador is my top choice right now because we're not. I don't think we're going to be bad enough to get Caleb. Drake May is like the last guy I want on the team because I just feel like it's gonna be Mac Jones 2.0.
yeah. I'm not sold on Drake May in the NFL.
He gives me like Zach Wilson vibes. Like just he's got great like physical
Yeah.
ability, but I don't know something about
I
Drake
mean,
May.
he could be a sleeper guy. He could come in and just fucking tear it up. But I don't know.
I mean, I've been dead wrong about several guys in the NFL like coming in. Like I remember like in like 2013, 14, the Jaguars drafted Blake Bortles, and I was like, Blake Bortles is their guy. Like
Dude took
they
him to the
they
playoffs though.
they got he did. I like, but in my head, I was like, they got the franchise guy. Like that
I
guy
think
is
he could have
him.
been. They just kind of imploded.
There's been a few guys like I've just been dead wrong. Josh Allen, I didn't think he was gonna be any good.
I didn't either. I don't think anybody really did. But he's I don't know, man. All he really needed to do was work on like his passing a little bit. Like everything else was there. He can run. He's big. He can break tackles. Like he just need to work on his like decision making and passing a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I slept on Mahomes, but I didn't think he was gonna
Oh,
be as good as he
I was
is.
like all in on Mahomes. I remember like I was playing Madden. I was like picking Mahomes. I was trading like whatever team I was playing with. I was trading my quarterback and just picking Mahomes up out of the draft. Like, because I knew Mahomes was gonna be good. I felt it. I think everybody did really like.
I didn't think I thought he was gonna be all right, but I was like, he's coming from Texas Tech, like, and that was like my big thing. But yeah, I was dead wrong about that. There's some quarterbacks I've been right on, like Mitch Trubisky. I was like, this guy's gonna be terrible. Why would you draft him second overall?
I mean, he also went to the Bears.
That's another thing. Like certain guys, they
What do you
make your
think about
team.
Justin Fields?
I think he's good. I think he's playing really good. I think he's just not in the best situation.
I agree. Dude, they were like this close to like calling it quits, and then he comes out there and starts cooking, and everybody's like, okay. I mean, he's playing like obviously they're playing like bad teams like the last 2 weeks, but like he has no O line. He only has DJ Moore. Like that's it. That's it. They have nothing else. They have no defense. It's him and DJ Moore. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to cut the guy a break. I mean, like oh, they're gonna
And
pick
then
Caleb Williams.
they
Like,
tried to completely change the way he's playing. Like they're just like, don't run the ball. Like what? That's who he is. Like he runs. He's a fantastic athlete. He can run like a motherfucker. He can scramble and throw. Like, and they're like, okay, you're a pocket passer this year with no O line and no weapons other than DJ Moore, who's and then the defense's best cornerbacks on him, like or being double covered because obviously that's the way he's gonna want to go. It's like, well, like what do you expect? He's gonna play bad. That fucking franchise is a dump. That GM needs to be fired. Like the coach can stay, I think, but that the defensive coordinator gotta go. Gotta go.
you
Might
know
be the
who's
worst.
having a great year though? CJ
Sa-
Stroud.
Oh yeah, man. He's like he broke Dak's record for like his rookie record or rookie for like most passes completed without an interception or some shit. Um, yeah,
Texans got their guy, I think.
then they guess they hit on some receivers. They got what Tank Dell and Nico Collins. Like they got Damian Pierce, running back from Florida. He's a big dude. That just they gotta shore the old lineup and maybe get some pieces on defense, and I think they could compete for a playoff spot for sure. I
I
don't see why
like
not.
it.
They might make the playoffs this year because the division's really weird. Like the Saints are good. Like the Saints have a fantastic defense this year, but Derek Carr is playing like ass. And then the Bucks are really weird. Like Baker's cooking. The defense don't really seem like they're playing that good, which is weird because this is basically the same defense that Brady took to the Super Bowl that was absolutely dominant. Like I don't think they're missing too much off the defense from that same team. They have the same offense. And I mean, obviously he's not Brady, but
They're
uh,
one of
they're
the teams where like I don't know yet.
they're an interesting team.
Because I think the Bucks probably make a wild card spot
Who? And
based
then
on
the
what they're
Panthers,
playing.
the fucking Panthers might not win a game. I think Bryce Young's hurt. Like I feel so bad for that kid, man. The Panthers might have the worst O line in the league, other than the Giants. He's back there getting massacred. He's got Adam Thielen, and that's it. If they didn't pick up Adam Thielen, that man might be thrown to the refs. Like,
I'm trying to think of like do they pick Marvin Harrison if they're the first
well,
pick,
no,
or do they go O
the
line?
Bears have their first round pick.
Oh, the Bears. Oh yeah, because they traded all for Bryce Young.
The Bears are fucking around and wasting they could fuck around and get the first and second round pick if they would just tank.
See, I don't like the idea of like them picking Caleb Williams when you got like a
No, no.
perfectly
So
good
like
quarterback.
at this point, like I'd be like, okay, like obviously Justin Fields can play. Like, okay, let's fuck around. Like we'll just lose the rest of the games. They've won what one game so far, so they gotta beat out. They gotta beat out. They have the Panthers pick, so it doesn't matter if they win a game, which they have. So they're a step above the Panthers, so they can do not win any more games. Who else is sitting down there? Like I think the Giants have a win, but we'll probably pick up another win somewhere. So and then the Broncos, I'm sure they'll probably pick up a win somewhere unless they just bench Russell Wilson. So like, man, if I'm the Bears, I'm tanking. You keep Justin Fields, you go down. You could have the first and second pick in the draft. You don't need a quarterback, obviously, because the guy you got's pretty solid. So maybe go get Marvin Harrison and a left tackle because I think there's one of the left tackles. He's like projected like top 5. So like go grab him and Marvin Harrison. You can have Marvin Harrison and DJ Moore. Like
Or if they really wanted to, like if they're like, okay,
trade,
we like Caleb better, just trade Justin Fields for another
yeah.
high pick, and then you got 3
Or
top picks.
or they take that first pick, trade that motherfucker for somebody's entire
Oh,
like
somebody will
fucking
trade their
Ohio.
whole draft probably
Oh, I
for.
and man, if I'm like, okay, what's a team that has that just needs the Jets? I'm calling the Jets, and I'm like, I want every pick you fucking got. Oh no, because they got Rodgers coming back next year. So that one doesn't work. There's a team that just needs a quarterback. It was the Jets. Hmm. There's somebody out the Vikings maybe,
Yeah, because Kirk Cousins is gone after this year. He's
but they need more than just a quarterback. And anyways, yeah, if I'm the Bears, I'm fucking. I'm. If I have the first and second pick, I'm selling that first one. If you're content with Fields, I think you could make the playoffs with him if you can get him some help. Steal somebody's
shit.
everything,
I would.
because
I want
somebody's
the
gonna do it.
Patriots to do that. Like, take all our picks.
Every pick in the entire draft, I want all of it, all fucking 6 rounds,
We'll give you
or
all our
maybe
picks.
maybe your
Here's
first this year, your first next year, and like your second this year. Like that would be pretty good. 2 firsts and a second. I feel like that's a little light though.
all the times Belichick is like just traded first round picks down. I'm like, you might as well just trade it all for Caleb, and then like, hey, Chicago, here's just a sweeten the deal. Here's a good backup quarterback for you, and Mac Jones. There you go. You guys can have all our
It,
picks and a backup quarterback.
and at that point, they have another team's first round pick a little later, a whole bunch of other fucking picks, and you could still have like that second or third pick. Maybe go get Marvin Harrison or that left tackle. So they don't need a tight end. They got Cole Kmet. They have kind of a number one receiver. They either need another big receiver or a second guy who they could pick up in later round. They got okay running backs. They got what Khalil Herbert, and what Roshan Johnson, I think his name is. I
Yeah.
think he was from Georgia. Um, they have no fucking O line. So with that haul of picks, go get you either that number one receiver Marvin Harrison, or you go get like a fucking lockdown corner, the best defensive player in the draft. I don't know. There's not really anybody that's like crazy, like a Joey Bosa or something like that. I think Jared Verse might be like the number one defensive end, but at that point, I'm not taking him too though. Like, I don't think he's like a game changer like that.
You think Caleb Williams is the top 10 quarterback his first year in the NFL?
I think it depends where he goes, but
He might not even come out if he doesn't go to the right team.
he's gonna pull the Eli thing, and he's gonna go somewhere he's gonna want to go. So
I heard the Giants are one
yeah,
of the teams he wants to play for.
yeah. See, I heard that there was like five teams. It was like us, the Raiders,
The Cowboys.
the
I think it was like the
Cowboys,
Cowboys,
man.
Rams,
If
and like one other team.
I'm the Cowboys, I'm like, you can have Dak and all of our picks because all they need is a quarterback. Go get Caleb Williams immediately. They would probably go undefeated. I wholeheartedly believe that.
Dude, Caleb to the Cowboys would be
You got
so
CeeDee
bad for the
Lamb, you
league.
got Michael Gallup, who's a solid receiver. Tony Pollard, solid. He can catch out of the backfield. You got a great O line. Who's their tight end? They don't have Dalton Schultz anymore, do they?
I don't think so. They're honestly they're so stacked. Then they're gonna be getting, some of their injured players back next year.
You can hit free agency, pick up a tight end, like sell the fucking farm. Somebody's gonna do it. And I'm here for it. I'm so ready for the draft. So ready.
But honestly, like I'm cool. Like I'm cool
I
with
can't.
Shador though. Like Shador is underrated as hell as an NFL prospect.
I agree. He just seems kind of small. Like, does he seem small to you? Like,
You know,
like weight wise?
yeah, he might be. I mean, I feel like
But
him and
I
Caleb
don't
are like the same size though.
I don't think he is though. He just
I feel like
looks
he's
small.
like 6'1", 6'2", 200 something.
6'2", two. Yeah, he's like. And then Caleb is
6'1", 215, I think. So he's got an
yeah.
inch on Caleb and they're
He
the
he just
same
he just
weight.
seems smaller. I don't know what it is, but yeah, fuck it, man. I'm so ready for the draft. The draft's gonna be crazy, and if it's not, I'm gonna be disappointed. If somebody's not selling everything they got for one of these dudes, because this might be the best quarterback draft like we have ever had,
I mean, you got
arguably.
just
You
off the
got
top of
Caleb
the
Williams,
head.
you got Shador, you got Drake May, you got Bo Nix, Jordan Travis, Michael Penix. Like that's six right there. That's six starting quarterbacks that would be very viable.
Yeah, and then you got Riley Leonard,
Riley Leonard,
you got Dylan Gabriel, you got who else is coming out? Like
Quinn
there's
Ewers,
like
maybe.
Quinn Ewers. Yeah,
That's
Quinn
like
Ewers
eight
is definitely coming
fucking
out.
like balling quarterbacks that are cooking this year. Jaden Daniels, is he coming out?
Yeah, I think he's coming out too.
Like, holy shit! Like, that's
Somebody's
what I'm
gonna
saying.
have to
Like,
stay. Somebody's gonna have to stay though. I feel like if they
I,
want, to be a first round pick.
if Caleb Williams stays, I think that's a mistake. I think he'd get hurt next year. I don't think he should stay. Like, granted, yeah, he'll probably make more money if he stays. Same with Shador. And I think Shador stays actually. Because if
Shador
Caleb,
makes more sense to stay.
yeah, because Dion don't want him to be behind Caleb Williams, like ego type shit. But no, fuck that, bro. Like obviously, like, but that could fuck him up because Caleb Williams is gonna like they both declare for the draft, and then Caleb Williams up on the clock, and he's like, "Nah, I ain't fucking going to your team," and they just pick Shador instead, and Shador ends up on like the Cardinals or something. You know what I mean?
I
And
feel
then
like I think it'd be. I would like to see Caleb Williams just go back. It would be hilarious because like I don't know if you saw that April Fool's joke of like Victor Wembanyama, um, who went to the Spurs like the number
yeah,
one. He was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to the draft. I'm gonna stay another year here in France." And everybody's like, "What the hell?" And it was like an April Fool's joke. But like if Caleb Williams actually did that, like all these teams tanking for him, and he's like, "You know what? I'm gonna come back one
I
more
just
year."
I don't think it's happening. He's going to go somewhere good. He's not like he just won't play. And like, why would you like? I feel like a team's gonna call him and be like, "Yo, like, do you want to come to this team?" And he's gonna be like, "Nah, okay, cool." Call the next dude. Like, why are you even gonna waste a pick on the off chance he might play for you? Like, or are you gonna risk your first round pick on a quarterback that's gonna sit all year?
Yeah, unless you just want to be really spiteful, like, yeah, we're just gonna hold him
We're
hostage,
gonna ruin your
basically.
okay, fuck it. He's just gonna it, it just doesn't make sense. It's
He's
not
just
gonna
gonna sit out for his first 4 years.
it's not gonna happen. A team's not gonna draft him if he doesn't want to go there. They're gonna
Right?
like because they made the call and then they talked to them before they put the pick in. So like they're gonna call him if he declares for the draft, and they're gonna be like Cardinals or Bears or whoever the fuck it be if nobody trades up. It click or he's just not even gonna answer the phone. You know,
He has more power, I feel like, than any
he,
prospect in NFL
absolutely.
history. Like he could probably pick where he wants to go at this point. Like,
He could
hey,
be like, I want to go to this team, and nobody would probably pick him up until that team. Which actually, if I was like a rival of that team and I picked before them, I'm picking him. Like, just fuck you. I'm gonna, yeah, I would 100% do that. If I was like the Dolphins and like the Pats, well, he was like, I'm going to the Patriots, and like say the Dolphins picked before them. Mike McDaniel seems like he'd be that guy. We don't need him, but why not?
might as well.
Something, just for an example. But
I think it's like
I
just
don't know. Like,
crazy that he's in this position. I know I saw a lot of people criticizing him, like, man, that's crazy that he thinks he could just pick. I'm like, well, you pick where you go to work. So I mean, what's the difference? Like, hey, why can't he pick where he works? Like
all right,
he
so
he wants to go to where he wants to go.
I guess we can kind of quickly run through it. So, AFC East, no, no. Jets got Rodgers, no. See the Pats. Look at their schedule. I think they could win that game. That's a loss. They can win that game. If Anthony Richardson's back, maybe. But Gardner Minshew's solid, so I think the Colts could win that game. Uh, I don't even know about that one. It might be like 7-3 or something stupid. That's a loss. That defense is,
Eh,
if they show
probably a
up,
loss.
loss. That's a
Loss. That's a
win.
win. Loss. A loss.
Loss.
Maybe
Probably
a
a
win.
loss. So you guys might finish with like 4 wins. Okay, so 4 or 5. Uh, None of these teams are gonna be down that low. I don't see any of these teams being down that low. Denver loss. Shootout, potentially loss. Who fucking knows? Loss. Division game on the road.
Probably a loss.
They might finish with 2 or 3 wins. So maybe Denver. I don't even know if they have their first round pick. Did they trade? Did they trade? I think they traded their pick to
For
Seattle.
Seattle for Russell Wilson.
Okay, so Seattle would have that pick,
They
but
like Seattle, like if they had the number one overall pick, you might as well just take Caleb Williams. I mean, like, yeah, Geno Smith's been good, but
I don't see why
he's already like 35 or something. Like
Okay, so I don't see why he wouldn't want to go to Seattle. They have a solid team, so it's kind of looking like maybe Seattle, New England right now. Loss. I don't see us winning another fucking game.
if he wants to go to New York, New York could easily have the number one overall pick.
I wouldn't. We don't have a fucking O line to speak of. We don't have extra picks. It's not like we can double up and draft him. And
I could have sworn that was like one of his 5 teams.
it was if that was true, like that.
Yeah, if that's true.
If that's true, sure, okay. I would. I'm sure I'd take him, but he's gonna get massacred back there. So okay, we got Giants, Pats, Broncos in the running, or I guess Seattle if they have Broncos pick. I think the Bears definitely get. I can see them beating the Vikings and the Raiders. Believe it or not, because Justin Jefferson's out for like 4 weeks. The Raiders are absolute ass. Chargers have no defense, so I think they could win these 3 games. So I can see the Bears definitely fucking themselves out of their own first round pick and falling back on that. The Vikings are very bad. Potential loss, definite loss. 50-50. The Falcons are weird this year. Loss. That's a win. Who knows? I don't know. The Vikings have weird schedules, so I don't think they'll be down there. The Panthers are 100%, but the Bears have that pick. And then the Cardinals will definitely get it's looking like it's going to be Vikings, Giants, Seattle with the Broncos picking the Pats
Yeah,
from
I got a article pulled up that has like the current most likely teams to get Caleb Williams. So they got the Giants at 1,
okay, right on that.
Patriots at 2,
Damn, I'm good.
Bears at 3,
I'm fucking great.
Raiders at 4, and then Vikings at 5.
Ah, okay. I don't know, man. It's looking like it's Pats or the Giants more than likely. But if I'm him, I'm telling the Giants to get fucked. I'm going to the Pats.
I don't think he would want to go to the Patriots because like a lot of
I
players
wouldn't
don't
want to
like
play with
playing for
Bell. Yeah,
Belichick.
I
They
wouldn't
hate
either.
like I remember when I believe it was Matt Stafford when he requested a trade. He said he would go anywhere but the Patriots. Like players don't like going to play for
Yeah,
Belichick.
I mean, I wouldn't. I would love to have him. Don't get me wrong. Like I fuck Daniel Jones at this point. Like I like the guy, and I feel so bad for him. Like with the amount of fucking times he's getting hit back there. Like got sacked 11 times against the Seahawks. Like that's not good. That's not cool. Like that shouldn't happen. That's like almost a record. I think the record's like a few more than that from like the fucking 84 Bears back in the day or something crazy. So, and then he got sacked like fucking 6, 7 times this past weekend before he got hurt and out of the game. So, if I'm Caleb Williams, I'm looking at that and like, y'all got to do something on the O line, or I'm not going to y'all. Like free agency, do something, make some trades.
I don't know why he like that's one of his top choices. I think it's probably just the New York thing, like getting to play in
It's
New
the
York,
market, the
the
market
market. I mean, if you
for
look
sure.
at all the teams he wants to go to, it's all pretty big markets for the most part.
I would love to have him. Would love it. But he's not gonna turn the team around. Like we're not gonna be good because we get Caleb Williams. Like we still wouldn't make the playoffs. We're still not beating the Eagles, and we're still not beating the Cowboys. And we would probably still lose a game to the Commanders, probably. Like, you know what I mean?
It depends on where he goes. Like if he went to like Dallas or something, he might be the first ever rookie to win MVP.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if he wants to go to Dallas. Like it's a super weird. Like I wouldn't want to play for Jerry Jones. Like I don't know. Like, dude, just stop. Like, step the fuck back from the team. You're fucking ruining your team. They probably could have won a Super Bowl by now if he would just fucking step back.
well, it's getting to that point. So like I had mentioned like on Sunday, I was like, maybe we should get rid of Belichick. I've changed my mind on that. I think we should keep Belichick, but
Yeah,
I think he should not be allowed. I think we need to hire a GM because he's the GM right now. We need to like, hey, you're
yeah,
the coach. You're the coach only. You're not the GM. We're
yeah.
hiring a GM.
You guys draft really weird too.
We draft terrible. We almost never hit on a draft pick unless it's a late round pick.
You guys get lucky because he's able to just mold play it. But yeah, now it's like okay, it was Tom Brady. Like it's now it's looking like it wasn't Belichick.
Yeah, I think I don't think it was all Tom Brady. I think it was a mix, but
I think it was more so like maybe like a 60-40 split or something like that.
I think he just needs another quarterback, and he needs somebody else to pick the personnel because he's just so hard headed. Like he doesn't like picking receivers in the draft. He doesn't like
You
signing
guys
free agent
never have
receivers.
receivers.
That's why Brady left because we wouldn't give him a receiver.
You guys
Because we
you guys got that good dude from like Arizona, Jacoby Myers, who's now on the Raiders.
yeah, and he was pretty good, and
That
we
was like
let
your
him
first
go.
round pick. That was like the last
We
like big receiver I remember you guys picking in the draft.
see the last year we had Brady. We had a pretty good receiving core to start the year. We had Antonio Brown, Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman, and I think Gronk was gone. I think Gronk had already retired.
I mean,
But
on paper, like that
Brady,
sounds fire,
but we had to cut.
but Josh Gordon ain't played in like 6 fucking years, and
Yeah, Josh
Antonio
Gordon failed
Brown's
a drug
psychotic.
test. Yeah, Josh Gordon like failed a drug test, so he was gone. We cut Antonio Brown because of the accusations he got, so he was gone. Then it was just Edelman again, and it's like Edelman's not a number one receiver, but he's
Oh,
good.
Edelnut.
I love Edelman though.
I did. I keep seeing them fucking. I see so many on my YouTube. I'm gonna start sending you everyone I find because I don't know what fucking podcast he's on or if it's just multiple that he keeps getting interviewed on, but he just keeps talking about like Belichick doing funny shit or saying stupid shit or treating players like shit, but it's so funny. Like He has a really good impression of Belichick, and it's fucking hilarious. So I'm just gonna start sending them to you like every time. It's
Yeah.
great.
Gronk was talking about Belichick the other day, and he was like, most players, like he's like, they get like 1 to 5 strikes before they're out, and he was like, Mac Jones is like, he's skating the line. He's like, if Mac Jones like keeps messing around, he's not gonna be there at the end of the year.
Who do you guys play this week?
Team we're gonna lose to. We might win this one. It's
This might be a game where they're like, oh, Mac Jones he's all right, and then you gotta get fucking Bills, and then at Dolphins. Jesus Christ! And I think Jalen Ramsey might be back by this. So whoever your fucking number one receiver is, might as well not even look that way because
we really don't have good receiver. We have Devontae Parker and we
nope,
have Juju Smith-Schuster.
it was been
And
non-existent.
we really don't. We have some rookie, I think, named Douglas. That's like he's been pretty good, but he ain't really like getting targets like that. Stevenson's a good running back.
Kendrick Bourne.
Zeke's been yeah. Kendrick Bourne's probably the best receiver on the team, really.
Oh, if Jalen Ramsey's back, you might as well not even look at that. Don't even look at that side of the field because that shit's coming back. I mean,
Hunter Henry's been pretty good at tight end so far this season.
you guys got two badass tight ends. Like Mike Gesicki's like a fucking physical specimen, but he's dog shit. I don't know what the fuck his problem is. Like he did not translate into a good NFL tight end. I think he went to the Dolphins and just disappeared.
It's just the defense, like we're just not doing good.
You got
Judon's hurt.
Judon's hurt, and your fucking cornerback was on your that was your first round pick, right?
Yeah, he was honestly probably the best player on the
Yeah,
defense.
dude was cooking. I mean, you guys got J.C. Jackson back, but
Jabril Peppers is he's pretty solid. Somebody just retired that was like hurt because he hadn't played. It was a pretty good player. I can't remember who it was, but he retired. Oh, Jamie Collins.
Yeah, and then you fucking Van Noy left too.
Yeah, Van Noy left a couple of years ago. We used to have a really, really good defense.
It just defenses just tore up. IR, IR, out, out, IR, IR, out, IR, IR, IR. Like the fucking defense is just so thin.
Just looking at this team, like we don't have.
This is terrible.
Like all of our key pieces are gone.
I might be taking the spread like every week against the Pats.
Like we had so many like cornerstone guys. Like we had the McCourty twins. We had Patrick Chung, Jamie Collins in his prime. Like we had all these really Ninkovich. Like we had all these really good Kyle Van Noy after that. Then obviously we had Brady for a long time. We had Edelman. Like, we had all these guys. Yeah, he's our Wyatt isn't too bad either, honestly. The D line's not terrible.
Yeah, D line's solid, but your secondary is non-existent.
The linebacking core is just too beat up right now. I feel like
you guys just too many injuries. Nobody on offense to be seen. Not a single soul.
Yeah, I mean, like Stevenson's probably our best offensive player. Zeke has been just underwhelming.
You might as well just move Ty Montgomery up to the RB1.
I was like, maybe Zeke will be pretty good.
Yeah, I was kind of like optimistic. I was like, okay, maybe a change of scenery, like something. Maybe Belichick can get him right. But the dude, he seems so slow. Like the dude moves like a fucking offensive lineman.
Every time we bring on a big name player, I feel like it doesn't work out.
It seems
the only time it worked out was when it was Revis. Revis was the only one where
Randy Moss
killed it. Yeah, Randy Moss too. But for the most part, like
who else?
Like Chad Ochocinco, that fizzled out real quick, and he was like the year before he was good.
Yeah, I can't even really think of anybody else other than those two.
Shoot,
you might as well give old Will Greer, the West Virginia native. I don't think he's from West Virginia, but
yeah, he was.
Throw him in there. Fuck it, why not? See what he's about.
At this point, I'm like, throw in anybody. Like
you might as well do like first quarter Mac Jones, second quarter Bailey Zapp, third quarter Will Greer, and whoever's the best, you can finish the fourth quarter.
I'm down to sign like RG3 at this point. I'm not even kidding.
He said he'd come back. He said some teams called him. I wonder if it was the Pats.
Like, but come on, RG3. But I mean, if I was him,
that man gotta get hit in the knee one time and he gonna lose his leg.
Like I will take anybody at this point. Like, let's just try him out. Like, hey, Matt Castle, how you doing, man? You wanna take another shot at it? I know you've been retired for the past 3 years. Hey, Colt McCoy, man, you wanna come take a shot at it?
Teams that called him too. I remember he was on game day talking to, or no, he was on the Cowherd show. He was like, because Colin was like, can you tell us like who's called you? And he was like, nah, I ain't gonna say. He's a bit. There's been a couple of teams. So I'm like, who the fuck called Colt McCoy? Like, dude can't move for shit.
Bro, he'd be so much better than Mac Jones. He
Probably
understands the game so much better.
get old fucking Troy Aikman out of the booth.
Like I'm trying to think of
Brett
somebody who's,
Favre.
hey Philip Rivers, how you doing, man? You've been out for only a
I'm
couple of
sure
years.
Eli'd probably get back out there.
Hey,
No
yeah,
wait, no wait.
Eli.
Could you imagine Eli on the Pats, bro? Oh man, coming out of
The
retirement.
the best move. Hey Brady, I know you missed the game. Like
It ain't happening.
you're taking a year off. I know you'll be back next year.
He would take one look at this depth chart and be like, I have nobody to throw the ball to. Like Edelman, Gronk, let's get what's a ride.
Gronk's still younger than Kelsey. Like, hey Gronk, you wanna come back, run it back?
Yeah, I don't think it would work.
I would take anybody at this point. I'd take any team's backup at this point over Mac
I'd be
Jones.
holding open tryouts for all positions. Please, we need help. That's how I feel the Giants need to be. We need to be holding open tryouts for O linemen.
Need to do that invincible thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey
Call up
Mark,
fucking
you're a
Mark.
fan of the team. You want to
Can
come
you
play?
catch? Can you catch? Man, it's a tough year in NFL for us. Luckily, our college teams are because usually here lately it's been like our college teams and NFL have been fucking ass.
Yeah, for the most part.
At least we got something. I don't know.
This is the first, this is the first year where I'm like, college is giving me hope. Like, honestly, like from like, I'd say when I first started watching the sport, which was probably like 2006, 2007, like third, fourth grade, somewhere around there. I was like super big on college, probably through like 2010. And then I was like just straight NFL for so long. And then like I kind of like it was like NFL, NBA were tied a little bit. And now it's just been like just straight college football the past couple of
Like,
years.
NFL is just so boring to me. It's like I get like the skill and then the technique and the small all the
It's a
small
chess
things.
match, yeah.
Yeah, all the small things matter so much more, but it's just so fucking boring. Like the crowds are boring. There's no band. Like there's no like there's no love for the team. Like there's no rivalries.
That's the thing. That's like what I was explaining to somebody this weekend. I was
Like
like, okay, in college, if you suck, you still have your pride to play for. Like the school's pride, and there's no incentive in college to lose. Like if you suck in the NFL, you're like, well, I'm gonna lose and get the top pick. In college, you
you
just
ain't
gotta
getting
keep going.
shit.
Like, you just gotta keep going.
If you lose, you ain't getting nobody. Like if
That's why
you're
I like
bad,
college
like
better. There's more. Like the rivalry games also like you can have a terrible year, but if you beat your rival, at least you have that
that's
to
a
play
win.
for.
The season's a win. Yeah. It's I don't know. NFL, it's just boring, bro. It's so fucking boring. And then like this year, it's like this year's weird. It feels so different than like previous years. Maybe it's because like the normal teams that are normally good aren't as good, but it's like the blowouts are crazy this year. Like every week there's just blowouts across the fucking field. 40-20, 34-0. Uh 42-24, 31-16, 42-10. Like that just doesn't normally happen in the NFL. There might be like one or two blowouts a week, I feel, and this year it's like half the games are blowouts.
I don't know. And I think I just don't like the new like NFL stars. Like
Yeah.
I liked it when it was like Brady, Manning, like Philip Rivers, and like Romo and all these guys. I don't like the new guys like that. I just like I hate
Yeah.
Mahomes. I
I
don't really like Josh Allen.
yeah, I'm growing to dislike Patrick. I don't like that fucking game where he slid before like oh you're a fucking bitch.
I've been hearing that from a lot of people. Like at first,
Dude,
everybody loved Mahomes, but
a
now
lot of
everybody's
people
getting
think
tired
like
of
that.
him.
A lot of people think that shit was rigged because like the spread, like he slid before scoring. But like, I mean, like I get it, but a lot of rigged questions are coming more into play this year. I feel,
Yeah, well, and the NFL is doing that marketing thing where they're talking about like it being scripted, like as a joke to say like it's not scripted, but I think it's
and
just like putting more like,
spotlight on it. Yeah,
especially when you got players that have been caught like gambling. Granted, most of them have been for their team,
that's crazy.
but I mean, like there was an NFL guy. or not NFL, NBA ref that was betting on games, and he had to like retire.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I mean,
I've
you
seen him
can't
on
trust
some
these guys. Like,
I've seen him on some podcasts talking about it. Have you seen that?
not having those, he like admitting like to it pretty much.
What the fuck's that dude's name? NBA ref.
Betting.
Yeah, it's this guy. He's on 60 Minutes. Yeah, I think this is one here. Like, and he's just like talking about like what they were doing and shit like that. It's kind of wild. I'd check it out. I've only seen like a couple clips of it, but
Then like even in college, there was that one ref that got caught wearing a Michigan like hoodie or something.
I
But
don't remember that.
like he wasn't at the game, or like, you know, it was like on his off day, like somebody caught
Yeah,
him and he was wearing like a Michigan hoodie.
who fucking cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, obviously they all have their own favorite teams.
yeah, and like you could definitely tell like announcers too. Like,
Oh my god, the
oh my,
announcers are the worst about it. You
dude,
can tell when they're rooting for somebody.
college football announcers this year are pissing me off. Like, they're so bad. They're so like just on the nuts of like Ohio State. Like, I hate watching Ohio State games because of the announcers. It's like Kirk Herbstreit. Like, the dude shouldn't be allowed to call Ohio State games. The dude played for that school. You shouldn't be allowed to like announce games that you played for because it's like, oh man, they're so good. Like, this quarterback, he's so good. Da, 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 da. They're just like, is there another team out there? Like, is this like spring practice? Like what are we doing? Like, are they playing each other? Like, what the fuck am I watching?
My favorite Ohio State game that Kirk Herbstreit called
I like Kirk
was
Herbstreit.
the Baker like flag play. You know, he was in the booth, like he did not just do that because
Like,
he was calling that. He was like, "Is he gonna plant the flag?" And then Baker's just like, "Ugh."
I love that shit. Fuck Ohio State. I can't stand Ohio
No,
State, bro.
I actually really like Kirk Herbstreit. I watched, he did an interview with Bob Stoops on like some podcast Bob
Yeah,
Stoops is doing, and he was like talking about how he got started out, and
I
like
love Kirk Herbstreit
he
too, but
researched the shit out of everything. Like, he's really dedicated.
he's very good. And I actually like I like that he does what is it, Thursday Night Football. Yeah, that's actually really dope. I think he's a great announcer, commentator, whatever the fuck you want to call him. I think he's definitely one of the better ones, but he's such a homer on like certain teams. Like, oh, shut the fuck up. And then I'm so glad like the CBS moved away from the SEC. Like, those two fucking dudes, whoever the fuck, I can't remember their names. Oh my
They
fucking
still do games. It's a Brad Nessler and I
yeah.
can't remember the other guy,
The
but
other
yeah,
dude, I think he retired. The other dude.
yeah. There's a new guy that's
Yeah,
with
but
Brad
oh my
Nessler now.
fucking god, those dudes were on Alabama's nuts. Alabama and Georgia, that was it. Like, yeah, come on, man. What are we doing?
Like they act like I remember they at that time they're acting like the SEC was the only conference in football.
I hated watching those games because of the announcers.
Yeah, there's a
And
lot
like
of
Monday Night Football
announcers.
fucking blows ass because of the commentators. You got Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. Like, that's I'm convinced like they reached out to somebody, or Eli and Peyton were like, yo, we could undercut these dudes. Like, no, I feel like the majority of the people don't watch that shit. They watch the Manning cast. They're not even fucking commentating. They're just in there fucking around. I think it was last week. They was like simulating play calls, and like Eli's like reading plays to Peyton, and Peyton's fucking like reciting them back like while the game's going. Like that's what we're watching over these two commentators because they're fucking terrible.
You know
And
who
then,
I'm getting tired of at ESPN, and I hate to say it, like I'm getting a little. I wouldn't say I'm tired of him because I like the guy, but I'm getting a little burnt out on Pat McAfee right now.
I love Pat McAfee.
He's like, I don't know.
He's a little too much sometimes, and it's like every time he's like, oh, but I think that's just like, he's got that WWE like vibe because
Yeah, yeah,
that's just like he's like playing like a character almost.
yeah. Like I like him, but I don't
He's
know.
funny.
He said some. He's getting really defensive about like any criticism they have for college game day, like Washington State,
Yeah,
where
he
he
makes some
like
like
dismissed them.
yeah, he makes some picks, and then like it gets called out for him because he'd be picking like underdogs too, which is cool. But then like when he gets called out for it, he's like, oh
It's just like they fired so many people at ESPN basically to bring him on at his
I
contract.
Fuck it, I'm cool for it. I like him. I think he's good for game day because Lee Corso's. I don't know how they brought him back this year with how like bad he looked last year. Like the dude can barely. He looks like Joe Biden out there on the fucking table. And it's hard to see, man. It's hard to watch.
Yeah, I think he's probably just
Like
gonna do it till he's no longer with us. It
like
is what it
Kirk
sounds
literally
like.
has to like hold him like through all his speaking points, like, or they just kind of cut him off when he starts stumbling and he like stops, and then one of
Yeah,
them, you know what I mean? Like
I watched
it's
this whole video like a couple of days ago about how like Big Noon Kickoff is actually better than Game Day now.
no
Which like
fucking chance.
I haven't been
Maybe right
watching Big
now,
Noon
but
Kickoff, but I haven't. I've been watching
who's
Game Day, and it's not as good as it used to be. I don't
who's
think.
on Big Noon Kickoff?
Reggie Bush. Is it Matt Leinart? Let's see.
I fuck with Reggie Bush.
I like Brady Quinn as commentator.
I think Rob Stone's solid. Tom Rinaldi.
Mark Ingram's good.
I like Tom Rinaldi's voice. He does a lot of good like they do like videos or like pieces on teams, and he's always like the voice
Yeah,
of
he
it.
used to be with ESPN. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bob
Boss
Stoops isn't
Stoops.
on there anymore.
No, what
Or
is he doing?
he hasn't been doing it this year. Well, I think
I feel like Urban Meyer just kind of like sits there, like I don't really feel like he talks very much.
he's like, I'm just here
Nah,
till I
there's
get
no
go to
way Big
Michigan
Noon
State.
kickoffs better. Like, nah. And then you got Kirk Herbstreit. Reese Davis is a fucking he's the anchor of the show.
I like Reese
I
Davis.
love Reese Davis. I love Kirk. Desmond Howard needs to go. Chris Fowler, I love Chris Fowler. Pat brings the energy on the show. Um, yeah,
Aaron Andrews moved to Big Noon.
Corso, he's got to retire. I'm curious who they replace him with. I mean, obviously, like McAfee is like his, the energy replacement. But like when Corso retires, like obviously they got to fill that spot. So like I'm curious who
Like
they get.
who's gonna be the mascot guy? I feel like
I don't
Kirk.
think they. I don't think they.
I think Kirk should do it like in
He did. He
honor
should.
of
Kirk's
Lee.
like his prodigy, Like, but
Yeah,
I don't think they. I don't think they do it anymore after he's done. Like, I feel like they kind of like let it go with him. I think they should.
like I think if it's not Kirk, they shouldn't do it. But
Yeah, or
if Kirk does it, then I think it's cool.
maybe do something else. Yeah, I don't know what else they would do, but
Because I feel like that's the highlight
it
of
is.
college game day is like whatever
Seeing what
mascot
he
he does.
picks. Yeah, I mean, it's the majority of the time it's the favorite, but sometimes he's like, oh, you're like, oh shit.
I like it when he like fakes
He's like,
you out.
psych. He throws the shit.
He did that with OU this week, and he was like he had the OU shit and he threw it, and then he put on the Texas stuff. That was hilarious because Baker was on there too, and Baker was like, "Let me see that gun," and he like started popping that OU.
He shot it right next to his fucking head. Like they fucking killed the dude.
Oh, that was great. There's
Yeah,
this one time where he was like, "Ah, fuck it," and then he had to like apologize afterwards.
yeah, I like how they do the guests on game day too. Like that's fun. But yeah, Corso's got to go, man. I hate to say it, I love it. I love Lee Corso, and he's such like a historical like part of the show. He is the show. Like
He made the show. Yeah,
he made the show. Like
he's the one that made
it's
it
him.
popular.
But like at this point, like he's just kind of bringing it down. I feel. I don't.
I feel like you just gotta let him do it because like if he
Yeah.
doesn't want to stop, like you can't just like make him stop.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because I mean he's not gonna be with us much longer. Like
No, how old is he, man?
he's probably like 90.
He's out there fighting for his life.
Let's see how old he is. I bet you he's pretty close to 90. 88.
88. Yeah. He seems way older.
88's old as fuck.
Boy, it was a Seminole.
88 is so old. Like he was born in 35. He was born before like I don't even that was way before America joined the World War II. Like that's old, man. Like that's real old.
Yeah, I think I fuck with Corso because he is a bit of a Florida State homer, and I think I fucking hate Kirk Herbstreit because he's always dogging on us. Like at times he like loves us, and then he like shits on us at the same time. I'm like, the fuck's your problem, man?
Kirk Herbstreit's such a like
he's a wishy washy.
He's such a
If it's not
key
Ohio
key part
State,
of
he's like,
college football. Like he's just like such a big part of the college
yeah,
football world.
I love Kirk Herbstreit though. I don't know. There's just something about him. Like,
He's for all the big games. You know what I mean? He's like at all the big games. Like any really big game you watch, like he's probably
he's
been the commentator for it.
always.
I like Chris Fowler a lot too.
Yeah.
I get him and Reese Davis mixed up
Dude, they
sometimes.
almost sound similar.
They do. They sound the same.
It's weird. They I don't know if they would. I'm just so like, who would they replace Lee Corso with? I don't know.
Maybe they just rock with what they have minus Lee Corso.
So it'd be they can't because like it's like picks wise because Kirk always he's always commentating on a game, so he can't pick on a certain game. He's like the only commentator out of the group.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So they have a guest, they have a commentator, they have Kirk, they got Corso, Reese Davis. I don't think he makes picks.
No, I
They
don't
got
think he does. I think he just like asks everybody.
they'll have Desmond and then they have Pat. So it's like a 6-man group sometimes. I feel like that's too many though. Maybe one, two, three, four, five. Yeah, it is 6, right?
Yeah, I think
I feel like
so.
it's 5 though.
No, I feel like Chris Fowler is not really on there like that right now.
No, I'm not counting him because it's Corso, Herbstreit, always, Reese
Davis,
Davis, always,
Desmond,
And McAfee. So that's 5 plus the
plus the
guest.
guest. Yeah, so it's like
So
six.
it's 6, but they don't. The guest isn't always on there. The guest only slides in for the picks, or like a little bit before the picks. And I think one of them slides out for the guest, right? Is it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Desmond the one that
I
slides
think
out?
so. Yeah, because I don't think Desmond was making picks like this past weekend.
Yeah. So I mean, he probably slides out. Maybe he slides in and Corso slides out, and they rock with that 5 plus the guest. But I hate Desmond Howard. I don't. I
I,
feel like he's I don't know the way he talks. It's just like when he's talking, he's just like all over the place. It feels like
I don't mind him. I think he's very hot take ish. Like,
he's a fantastic player. He has a fantastic pedigree. Like by all means, but he's just I don't know.
he's another guy where I just feel like he's like a staple of like
Yeah, I
the
feel like
college football world. You know what I
I feel like
mean?
I feel like he could be replaced though.
He could.
Yeah, man, imagine they bring like Gronk on or something, like Gronk and Pat. Like, oh, it should be crazy.
I don't know. No on ESPN. They're like, you know what?
No, it would never happen.
Why don't we just add Stephen A to this show? That's probably what they
Oh
would
my
do.
god, I would be cool with it actually. I like Stephen A, but I hate him at the same time.
It
He's
depends
so
on what
like
he's talking about.
yeah.
Because
I
like
just
there's certain sport like basketball, he's very knowledgeable about basketball, but then like his football stuff, like his whole thing is just like hating the Cowboys, and it gets old after a while.
hey, I mean I'm for it, but I just don't like the whole thing with him and Max. It was kind of weird. Like
Well, and
he just
he keeps saying stuff about Max. And I'm like, bro, Max
like
lost
just
his job. Like
let it go, man. Like you're the reason why he's gone. Like
his ego got. He's like, man, Max. I felt like Max was bringing down the show. I was like, I thought you guys were pretty good, honestly.
I liked him, but yeah, Max is kind of all over the place too. Like other than when it comes to boxing.
Well, I mean, the thing with like these shows in general is it just turned into like just a bunch of hot takes. Like,
Oh, 100%. And you just throwing shit at the wall and hoping something sticks. And then you're
like
like, "Oh, that was right."
like
I
Skip.
can fucking do it. I hate Skip.
I kind of like Skip's show now. It's got an interesting little dynamic with
Nah, the shit he did to Shannon, like the
yeah,
whole
yeah,
Shannon
that was
Sharp thing,
messed
that was
up.
fucked up. Like, I think Shannon like almost beat the fuck out of him on a show one time. And I think that's why it was
Yeah,
like
well,
he made them like get rid of Shannon. I'm pretty sure is what happened.
no, Shannon bought out his own contract. Like that's how
Uh,
bad he wanted to leave because
'Cause he fucking hated Skip. I
well, what
think.
happened? I think the boiling point was when they're debating like Tom Brady or something, and Skip was like, "Well, he's way better than you," and like
It's not even
Shannon's
the
like,
same position, bro.
Shannon's
Like,
like, "You're acting like I'm a scrub. Like I'm in the Hall of Fame. Like
yeah,
I'm a Hall of Fame tight end."
when did you play?
He's like, "Are you really just gonna insult me? Just like make Brady look better?" And then there's whole Damar Hamlin thing where Skip tweeted that stuff about Damar Hamlin, like, why don't we just get on with the game? I can't remember exactly what he said, but something like that. And then he was Skip or Shannon was mad about that.
Yeah.
So, but I like the dynamic of Undisputed right now because it's got like you got Skip, you got Lil Wayne basically doing what Molly Qerim does on
They
first, like
got,
he hops in the debates, and then they got Richard Sherman.
and then they got the fuck's that other dude?
Yeah, they got another dude because
Um,
Wayne isn't on there every day because he's like he's got other things going on because he's
God damn, what the fuck's that dude's name? What? This is
this is like a different show or so. No, I mean there's Richard Sherman. No, there's no way there's this many people on.
no Keyshawn Johnson. That's who it is. It's Keyshawn, Skip, and Lil Wayne sometimes.
And then Richard Sherman, yeah.
Yeah. I
Because
mean,
Lil Wayne isn't on there every day because he's like he's on tour and like doing
yeah.
concerts and
I
stuff.
I like Keyshawn. I feel like he makes pretty solid points, sometimes. I mean, obviously everybody misses with points. It's impossible to be like correct every time, but I like the points he brings up. And Sherman's solid. I think he's getting better. I think Lil Wayne was just a weird pick. I feel like they could have went somewhere else with
So
that.
he was like when they first brought Lil Wayne on, he was doing really bad, but he's starting to like get the hang of it.
Yeah.
But like I like how they kind of incorporated him to where he's not so much like the person next to Skip. Like he's kind of like more of the moderator, but he jumps in and like says stuff every now
Yeah,
and
it's
then.
like Skip show, and then it's like Skip and Keyshawn, and then it's like Skip, Keyshawn, and then everybody else.
Basically, they did the same thing as First Take because like First Take was Stephen A, Skip, and then when Skip left, they're like, okay, we're gonna do Stephen A Max, and then it just turned into Stephen A versus whoever Stephen A
Oh,
wants on the
against the
show that
world.
day.
Yeah.
And then basically the same thing, like Skip versus whoever he feels like having on that day, because both of their egos were just too big to have a
Yeah.
partner.
I like Stephen A because he's such a fucking asshole and he just thinks he's hot shit. It's just funny, like he just his ego and he just it's funny, but he's so just wrong all the time. And when someone's calling him out, he gets so like butthurt and defensive.
I do have like a lot of respect for Stephen A.
Yeah, I did
Like
too.
he said something like I can't remember exactly the quote, but he was basically like, not everybody could be like Steph Curry or LeBron, but he's like pretty much anybody could be Stephen A if they want to like work at it. I'm like, that's a good point.
Yeah, I fuck with him. I know the majority of people hate him. I'm curious why he like his story. Oh, he's from the Bronx.
Like he was a legit writer. Like it's not like he doesn't know about sports. He just knows that
Yeah.
if he says outlandish things, he's gonna make more money for the network.
Oh, 100%. And he does. He's boy, he be making some crazy hot takes.
Man, I just like him and Skip was crazy. Like that like if they could have just like stayed
They
together.
oh that that'd have been money. Would have been
They,
money.
they were hilarious. Like they every now and then they bring that Mad Dog in on First Take. I don't know if you know who I'm talking about, but that dude is like he's kind of got the same energy as Stephen A. So it ends up being hilarious when he comes on.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know his like real name. Mad Dog's what they call him. Mad Dog Russo. Yeah, that guy.
This guy?
Yeah, that dude's hilarious.
I don't know why this guy's not like jumping out to me. Like I've seen him before, but like I can't like I don't like remember him.
Like I
Huh.
remember him and JJ Redick got in like a heated argument about like the top like point guards of all time because he said like some guy from like the 1950s was like the top point
Get the
guard.
fuck out of here. JJ Redick's smart as fuck.
JJ Redick's probably the more like logical guy they get on
I-
there
I've
sometimes.
I've seen people try to like debate with him and he just bodies them on fucking like stats and like what the fuck are you talking about? And he's just like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, okay, yeah, the dude knows his shit.
I mean, he played on some good teams in his little run.
He went to Duke, right?
Yeah, he was like one of the most hated college players, and then he got to the NFL and he was just like kind of like a good like six man type
Yeah.
guy.
JJ Redick was a baller. I wish I knew more about the NBA. I don't know shit about the NBA.
Thunder are gonna be good this year.
You think so?
Oh, we're stacked right now. We got Shea could possibly win MVP.
I mean, we've kind of had like the same like kind of core players for like a little bit. We got
They keep
fucking
developing though. That's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah. We're a young team. We got old Chet coming back. We'll see if
Chet, Giddy, J
what the
Dub,
yeah, we'll see if Chet's any good. I hope so.
Dort is great. Giddy's great. Shea's, like MVP level player. Chet could be rookie of the year. Um,
It's funny because he's not even a rookie.
he technically is.
Oh, fucking Ben Simmons, rookie of the year, there's like 60 or some shit. You remember those memes?
Yeah, basically on the same thing. And then uh what's his name? Jalen Williams. Like we have two Jalen Williams, but J Dub, he was like second in rookie of the year last year. Like he's probably gonna be one of the best players like in a few years. The
He's
top Jalen Williams and the second Jalen Williams is a really good like 6 man type player.
yeah.
And then we got who was the guy we drafted like in the first round? Where is that guy? Payson Wallace. They don't have a picture for him, but he's really good. I guess we drafted him because Lou Dort, we might have to like trade him if we want another superstar or something. And he's the only one with like a salary that can
What,
maybe
making
even.
fucking 15 racks? He's making more than everybody but Shea. And what the fuck is this?
We ate that guy's contract for a first round pick.
He making like more. He's like the second highest paid player on the team.
Yeah, he's not that good, but we took on his contract to move up to take our first round pick. And we have like the most cap space in the NBA right now, so we're like
Yeah.
might as well do it. Dort is really good. Like he was undrafted and he's like a really good 3-and-D guy. He's probably
Yeah.
like our I don't know, we're so stacked right now. He might be like our fourth best player, third best player.
And we're so young. Like I feel like we should go out and get like a veteran. You know what I mean? Kind of like he pull the locker room together.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Shea is starting to become more of a leader. Like we almost made the playoffs. We were one play, like we won the first playing game, and then we lost the second one.
Yeah, remember
And I
that.
mean, Shea was averaging like 30 some points last year.
The rest of the team just needs to pull together. I mean, I don't think we're winning like the championship this year, but
I
we
think
make it
we could probably be like the
make a
five
solid
seed or
run.
so, like 4 or 5
Yeah,
seed.
and like the West is just. I feel like the West is getting kind of weird. Like the Warriors aren't as dominant. The Lakers are kind of washed. No Dame in the Trailblazers. Anyway, the Nuggets are still fucking. The Nuggets
Yeah,
probably be the one seed.
the Suns are gonna be interesting.
The Suns and Nuggets would be one or two. You can interchange them.
I think the Suns might actually not be that good because they traded away all
They
their
got Aiden.
size.
Yeah.
Aiden got traded in the Dame
He,
trade.
I don't know. I guess he was kind of selfish. I feel like I've heard he was. I guess he was bringing the team down or some shit. But the dude's big as fuck, and I don't know. I guess he should be good, but he wasn't playing how he should have been.
Because all they got right now is basically 3 shooters. They got Katie, Booker, Bradley Beal
Yeah,
right
I mean,
now.
it'll probably be like in some fashion. Nuggets. You got the Clippers, Suns, and the Warriors. Those would be probably the mix of the top four. And
Yeah,
I don't.
Lakers as well, probably.
Yeah, I don't see why we couldn't fight with the Lakers for that fifth spot.
I like
And then
honestly
we
like
could we could maybe push for four.
this might be like a team like probably like that Thunder team where we had like a young, super young KD, Russ, Harden, and we like not made the finals like the year before where we like made the conference finals and kind of
Yeah,
got swept. I feel like we
I
could
could see
do
it.
that.
Yeah, they're all super fucking young. Like Shea's 25, Giddy's 20. Like they're all fucking younger than we are, right? There ain't nobody over 26 that really matters.
And we still have so
We have
many
all
first
them
round picks.
fucking picks. Like,
We could
and
just package them like for a superstar if we need to,
I don't know why we didn't go after Dame.
because we have too many guards on the team
Yeah.
right now. If we need like, I wish somebody would get disgruntled like Embiid if he got really disgruntled in Philadelphia. Like, hey, here's 5 first round picks and
Everything we got.
throw in like we'd probably have to throw in a couple players match salary, probably like
Yeah.
Bertrands and Dort. And I'd hate to lose Dort, but I mean for like Embiid, like it'd be that's something we
Worth
just have
it.
to do. Yeah.
Or maybe we just hit in the draft next year. Hopefully. I mean, hopefully fucking Chet turns out to be what we think he should be, but I'm not. I
He
don't think
doesn't. He
so.
doesn't even have to be like, in my opinion, he doesn't even have to be like a superstar. He just needs to be a good defender, and that's all
Well,
he needs to be.
dude's making 10 million and haven't played a game yet.
All he has to do is block and rebound. That's all we need him to do.
Yeah,
Because
because
Shea could score,
Giddy
Giddy could score, Dort could score, J Dub could score. Four
sounds good to
scores.
me. Sounds good to
Like,
me.
we're gonna kill this shit. Like,
Yeah, ideally, yeah, we should be good, but I mean, we'll fucking see. Because I don't know, there's some fucking super teams in the NBA that are like looking almost impossible to beat.
I'm a major homer right now, but I honestly think Shea's the best player in the NBA right now.
He's dude's fucking nuts.
He plays like I've never seen a player like, he moves so slow, like intentionally, and it just works. Like, he's just
Yeah,
so slow and deliberate, and then he could pass, he could shoot, he could go in, like he could pretty much do anything you need him to do. Like, give him a couple of years, he's gonna be right up there. But I mean, realistically, the Bucks probably won the championship.
they fucking should.
They
If
got,
if they don't, that there's something wrong.
or the Nuggets. It'll probably be like Bucks Nuggets, because I get like the Nuggets are still really 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 good. They might actually be better than the Bucks. Like, thinking about it,
They're just deep. Like they're just all around good team.
but Giannis is probably like my favorite non Thunder player. Have you watched this movie? Like,
No,
there's a movie about him in some like Disney Plus or something, like about how he like got to the NBA, like because he grew up super poor in like Greece
yeah,
or something like that, and it's a really cool story. Like, they were broke, like they were like homeless at a certain point,
damn,
and then he like found out he was really good at basketball, and then he went to the
that's cool.
NBA. He wasn't even that highly like touted. He was like the 15th overall pick. That's what's crazy about it.
Yeah, I don't even remember hearing about him until he was just like, boom, the guy, and I was like, oh, okay,
Well, I remember
cool.
the Bucks had a that Jabari Parker kid. They
Yeah,
drafted him, and then I was like, oh well, Jabari Parker's the best player on the team. And then like all of a sudden I was like, who's this? Who's this guy? And he like Jabari Parker. I don't even think he's in the league anymore. It's just
he was at Kentucky, right?
Jabari.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he did.
Oh, he plays for the Bulls.
I didn't know he's still in the league. Good for him.
Or he plays for Virginia. They don't have those mad pictures. Jesus Christ.
They don't even. They took his stats down. Like,
Holy shit. You know, it in a bio just position.
that poor guy. It's not like he was like that bad. Jesus.
Well, like, old as hell.
He's playing for Real Madrid right now.
Hey, Real Madrid's fucking them boys crazy.
Or
It's
is
like
that
the
or is that Barcelona? That's Barcelona actually.
oh yeah, it is.
It's kind of crazy how the soccer teams have basketball teams too.
Yeah, it is. I seen I was on Reddit and fucking somebody posted a pic of I think it was the Mavericks against Real Madrid, and they thought it was the soccer team. So they would like pick the point spread. It was like 8. It was like -8 for the Bucks, or not the Bucks, the Mavericks against Real Madrid. And they posted the pic and they was like, this is a lock, da 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 da. And then everybody was like dragging them because it was like, because they thought it was a soccer team and thought the sports book fucked up and matched them against the soccer team. And everybody was like, are you fucking stupid? Like, this is like the best fucking European basketball team there is. Like, they could actually beat the Mavericks, you know what I mean? And it was like, oh, last year, fucking, the Suns lost to like the 39ers or some stupid fucking team. You know what I mean? It was hilarious.
Ain't nobody in the NBA, like NBA preseason is even taken less serious than the NFL preseason,
Yeah, they might play the first half. Like, they would probably lose because
if at all.
yeah, because the
Honestly,
starters, fucking, what's his nuts ain't gonna play the second half. God, I can never remember his name.
what team?
The Mavericks dude.
Luca.
Yeah, Luca. Dude ain't playing the whole game. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, he might. I don't know. That dude's crazy.
The
That dude
Mavericks
just
are a weird team. They got Kyrie. I'm surprised he went back. I didn't think he was coming back.
I feel so bad for Luca. Like that dude's a baller, man. He's so good, but like that team sucks.
He's gonna demand a trade probably like in the end of this year or next year.
Bro, imagine him on like the Oh man, I wouldn't say they wouldn't lose a game type thing because people rest and shit. But man, if he ends up on a team with some players, like that's an automatic dub championship. Lock that shit in.
I don't know if he demanded a trade, like
If he went,
I wouldn't be opposed to us trading Giddy and some picks for
oh,
him.
absolutely not. If he went to like us or like Miami or something, and they could keep like Jimmy and some of their core pieces, or if he went to like the Sixers or something like that, that's an automatic championship team. Automatic.
Miami is like they just keep striking out on these
They
players. Like
they
yeah,
do.
every offseason they're thinking they're getting somebody. At this point, they might as well just like try to get Harden. Like Harden doesn't want to be in Philadelphia. Like might as well just trade him to somewhere he
I,
wants to be.
I can't stand James Harden. He's a bot.
He's an odd fella.
Him and Ben Simmons just need to retire.
Man, this is another thing like about Colin Coward. I hate like I remember this is why I'm convinced he hates just the state of Oklahoma. I remember like during Russ's like three like triple double seasons, he was like, "Here's my top 10 NBA players," and he didn't have Russ in it, but he had Ben Simmons in it. And I was like, "Bro, are you kidding me right now? Like you're a
Ben
hater."
Simmons don't even play. The dude, he was like, oh yeah, I'm active for the game. Shows up and scores like 4 points.
Ever
Dude,
since he had that play where he like didn't shoot it, like he's just not been the same since.
man, that man goes for like 4 for 20 or some stupid shit. He's terrible,
I
bro.
think he's
Like
only hit two threes in his entire career.
he's fucking so bad. But he was so good in college. I don't know what the fuck
He was
happened to him.
actually pretty good his first few years, like defensively, and he could just like drive in, but then he got too scared to drive in at a certain point, and he just couldn't score at all. And then like, yeah, he's all right on defense. He's a pretty good passer, but like you're expect like if Ben Simmons had a shot, he'd probably be like the best player in the league or like one of the best.
He's big too. Like I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about basketball. I really don't. Could be come playoff time. Yeah, sure, I'll watch it, but could care less.
It's like my like
It's
there's
like
like
my
four,
sixth
there,
favorite sport.
there's like four. I follow two sports and like four different variations. Like college football is my favorite, NBA is my second, NFL is third, and then college basketball is like probably fourth.
I've gone college football, soccer, then the NFL, hockey. I'd rather watch Formula One than basketball.
Damn.
I'd rather watch
Don't say
what?
if you say baseball, I swear
No,
to
no, no, no. I don't.
God.
I don't watch a second of baseball. What other sports would I rather watch than basketball? Shit, I'd rather watch golf. I've actually been getting into golf.
Actually, I like golf.
Fucking basketball is just boring, bro. It's so just, it's, I don't know, it's so superstar oriented, and it draws away from the sport. It's all about the one player here in the East, this one play. It's all LeBron and fucking one other person. That's it. It's fucking boring. And
See,
there's
I
like
like it.
80, fucking 90, 100 games in the season. Nobody fucking cares about baseball till like the last month before the fucking postseason starts, and you're like, okay, everybody's fighting for a playoff spot. Half the team's already eliminated, so half you just trash.
Bro,
It's
honestly, I have no idea who's in the baseball playoffs right now.
same with baseball. It's the same way. Like unless you love baseball, and nobody fucking cares. Like yeah, they sped up the pitching to make the game go by faster. Like that ain't gonna fucking save your sport. Like it's just boring.
Like I'm pretty sure the baseball playoffs are going on right now, and I have no idea
Yeah,
who's in it. I have no idea. I couldn't tell you one team that's in it right now.
I know a couple teams just because I'm like trying to bet on it, but I keep striking out on baseball because it's so wishy washy.
Like I don't even think I could name like five baseball players if you asked me. Maybe like
I could maybe name five, maybe,
I know
maybe.
Otani, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge. That's about all I know.
You got those three. You got Bryce Harper. Justin Verlander. Boom, five.
Yeah, I don't follow baseball like
Nah,
at
shit's
all.
trash. It's
I like
boring.
actually, you know what sport I do like? Softball. It's maybe it's
Yeah,
just because OU's on a run right
yeah,
now, but
women's
I like
softball is
it.
crazy. Hey, it's always like OU and Florida State's women's softball, so it's kind of cool for us. Our teams are
Softball
solid.
also moves by a lot quicker, and
Yeah,
there's a run rule, and it's less innings, and it moves faster. It's more fun to watch, way more
yeah.
fun to watch, and it's like college, so there's like more to it. But yeah, I feel like we got like maybe
we
maybe
went
maybe maybe 3 episodes in this.
we went way off topic. Jesus, I don't know. It's just fucking we just
I could
rolling.
probably break it into the college football episode, probably a whole NFL episode, and then
Yeah,
probably like that
that
basketball,
cast of
baseball, soccer, whatever that
bullshit.
was. Yeah.
Let's just talking shit.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll catch you guys. You're probably just catching the end of the random episode. The college football
If
episode probably just ended abruptly for you.
you're even watching at this point.
Yeah. So we'll catch you on.